first ordinary session of the National Assembly in the 2021 legislative year. The year 2020 has been a year of trials, tragedies, and tears as the world witnessed the devastating effect of COVID-19. So many loved ones have been lost, and the pandemic will respond, creating new waves of sicknesses and deaths. We pray that all the departed souls continue to rest in eternal peace. Honorable members, as we begin this first ordinary session in the 2021 legislative year, we all pray to Allah the Almighty to continue guiding us through the session and beyond. May I recognize the tremendous efforts and commitment of all honorable members on their respective oversight committee roles. I similarly extend same to the National Assembly Service for the support and guidance throughout the process. This has once again demonstrated our commitment and dedication to national duty, and I urge all of us to keep up the momentum or even do better. Now, honorable members, by way of an update to this August Assembly, the Appropriation Bill 2021, which was passed during the first ordinary session of the Assembly in the 2020 legislative year, which is Act number 1 of 2021, has been assented to by the President of the Republic on the 30th of December 2020. Honorable members, as mandated under the standing orders, specifically clause 921, 26. Yes, Willie is.
Yes, thank you. On the correction put agreed to, the second line, where you say bills, should have just been bill. Yes, you've seen it. Where it says corruption bill, bills, you remove the S, it's only one bill. Anti-corruption. It's page 6. We are dealing with page 6. Where you have correction put and agreed to.
Yes.
The second line, it says Gambia anti-corruption bills. I say we remove the S, it's only bill.
That's why I was asking the first question put and agreed to or the second one?
The first one, the first one.
It's the first one. Now
Yes.
we are together.
Yeah.
Yes, we are together. Thank you. Any more? Yes. Willie is.
Please, let's also check whether it's 2019 or 2020. The anti-corruption.
37. protocols and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 15th December 2020 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Thank you. Please kindly proceed. Thank you.
Oral Ministerial Statement on the implementation and monitoring of the annual budget by the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, as earlier communicated, on the standing order 941, the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs will today deliver his oral ministerial statement to the Assembly on the implementation and monitoring of the 2021 annual budget. We are now invite the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs to make his statement, after which the statement will be distributed to all honorable members as required. However, I wish to draw the attention of honorable members to standing orders 48.6 that after the statement has been delivered, questions will be allowed on the statement, but not to exceed 1 hour. The question period should not exceed 1 hour. And on that note, may I now invite the Honorable Minister to make his statement. Honorable Minister, please kindly move go ahead with your statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Just a minute. Honorable Speaker, it seems that we should get this 30 minutes before, unless there is explanation.
Yes, I just became aware of some administrative issues before I came in, and it was already on the agenda, so I don't want to explain to the House, but the honorable members, for the honorable minister to do the explanation himself. That's the reason. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Honorable National Assembly members. Normally, what we generate for our reports are quarterly reports, and we always make a comparative analysis at the end of the quarter. So we have another week or two for the end of March, and it will also coincide end of March reporting on the country's portfolio. So we are respectfully requesting for us to be allowed to report in April first week, so that we provide both the actual for end of March quarter, allow us also to do the comparative, and also we will also report on the country's debt portfolio. So that's what we are respectfully requesting, so that it will allow us to do the reconciliation. So whatever we are reporting will not be half-baked. We want to make sure end of quarter is reported on the actuals. That's what we are requesting respectfully.
Just wanted the Honorable Minister himself to explain. But in any event, the standing orders are very clear, or the clause is very clear within the session. So we still have time, and he has indicated before the end of March, it will still be within the session. But please, let's comply with the rules and regulations so that we'll all be together. Yes. You're satisfied? Thank you. Thank you very much. Class, can we proceed with the next agenda item?
Motion, be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and ratify the agreement between the Government of the Republic of the Gambia and DCAF, Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance, for the establishment of DCAF Field Office in the Gambia by the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Foreign Affairs. Please, thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this August Assembly do consider and ratify the agreement between the Government of the Gambia and DCAF signed by the two parties. The Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance herein, referred to as DCAF, is a leading center of excellence in justice and security sector governance. It is dedicated to improving human and state security through the strengthening of democratic governance, rule of law, and respect for human rights by supporting states and societies to improve security sector governance, by assisting international actors that support states to improve their security sector governance, by contributing to good security sector governance policy and specialist knowledge. Honorable Speaker, by ratifying the agreement between the Government of the Gambia and DCAF, the Gambia commits to DCAF's program in the Gambia, which seeks to contribute to meaningful security sector reform and greater accountability leading to improved peace and security for the Gambian population. The implementation of the project, support to the security sector reform process in the Gambia, is organized along two main lines of interventions, interlinked through an inclusive vision of security sector governance reform. It focuses on, one, supporting the government of the Gambia in its efforts to launch a deep and inclusive security sector reform process, and two, to strengthen the civilian oversight of security sector reform through specific support to Parliament, civil society organizations, and the media. Following the election of President Barrow in December 2016, the newly elected government launched a series of inclusive reform as part of the government's wider reform agenda to uphold the highest standards of democracy, good governance, and rule of law. This includes the development of a National Development Plan 2018-2021, the launch of a transitional justice process, and the launch of a security sector reform process. Honorable Speaker, DCAF's work in the Gambia is aimed to support the global architecture of the security sector reform process led by the Gambian state by enhancing synergies between international stakeholders and national services involved in security sector reform. The project will accordingly support the government in establishing a structure dedicated to fostering information sharing and coordination among international stakeholders around their respective engagements and interventions. It supports also an inclusive security sector process that fully takes into account the concerns and needs of all people of the Gambia, regardless of gender identity or sex, religion, ethnicity, or age. DCAF will support the government of the Gambia and notably the Office of the National Security Advisor in designing and implementing activities aimed at informing the population on the security sector reform process and providing a forum for dialogue, consultation, and information gathering from diverse stakeholders on the needs, gaps, and priorities to be considered while designing and implementing the security sector reform process. It's aimed to support the legal reform process aimed at developing laws and policies governing the security sector that are fully compliant with the rule of law and human rights principles. support the government of the Gambia in making strategic decisions that are based on evidence, solid analysis, and best practices in security sector reform in order to restructure the security and defense apparatus and to adapt its workforce according to the new vision of the security sector. It aims also at promoting and strengthening the democratic participation and oversight of the security sector by the Parliament, specifically the Defense and Security Committee, civil society, the media, and citizens. The project will further aim to building bridges between civilian oversight actors and security institutions, thereby fostering the exchange of information while building confidence as an essential element to sustainable peace and security. Honorable Speaker, the government of the Republic of the Gambia, in keeping to conform to its international obligations while striving on the platform of good governance, democracy, and respect for the rule of law, is expected to ratify the agreement between the government of the Gambia and DCAF with the expectation that it will contribute towards a participatory and effective security sector reform process. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Yes, King Central. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I rise to second the motion and then briefly give my intervention. Honorable Speaker, you will recall, or each and everyone will agree with me that security sector reform has been one of the campaign promises of the government of the day. So I think bringing this agreement to Parliament is an attempt to fulfill that promise. Security sector reform has been long overdue. An attempt to enhance the performance of security sector, I think, is very, very important. And in doing this, it must be done effectively, efficiently, and then following the due process. Security is everyone's business. So whatever we are doing in terms of enhancing their performance, I must say is a step in the right direction. There should be a very, very good relationship in terms of interaction between the population and the security sector. People that are in the security sector or people that are in the field of security must understand the nature of their job. And this cannot be done if they are not well trained, if they are not well equipped, if they are not well informed. So I think this is a right step in the right direction. Honorable Speaker, I will urge the Honorable Minister that security sector reform has been a song in the mouth of each and every one of you. So I think after this agreement being endorsed by the Parliament, you will speed up the exercise so that we have what we're supposed to have in place to make sure that it is done effectively, it is done efficiently. With that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you very much. I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the agreement between the government of the Republic of the Gambia and DCAF, that is the Geneva Center for Security Sector Government, for the establishment of a DCAF office in the Gambia. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Now, any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so by raising his or her constituency tag and will be allowed. The Honorable Speaker, I think, is the chair of the Defense Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Oh, you didn't hear me. Yes, your name is down, yes.
Thank you very much,
Deputy
Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, agreement between the Republic of the Gambia and the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance, DCAF. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy to report to this august body that this process was on for quite a time, but so many efforts have been put in to bring this agreement to be ratified by this humble House. Today is the day that the Honorable Minister was able to bring this agreement to this Assembly. To give you the sum of some of the developments within our committee, there were a series of meetings. The Honorable Minister and the team were engaged by the Committee of the Defense and Security, including DCAF field officers, to discuss on the issue pertaining to this very important agreement. And after some time, Madam Speaker, both the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Gambia DCAF staff, after long consultation, they came together to agree on as a matter of principle in the areas concerned. This thing has been agreed upon, and the agreement has now been signed by the Gambian Foreign Minister and DCAF office in the Gambia. It is long overdue, but it's really a very good agreement. Let me thank the Minister for taking the opportunity, taking this matter very seriously, and in the way in which the statement, the motion was prepared, was a straightforward motion. As a result, Honorable Speaker, I think it is straightforward, and going through the motion, really, on bullet point 4, where it says promote and strengthen the democratic principles and oversight of security sector by Parliament. This is a very important portion in this statement, since the Parliament has a two roles, the law-making body and oversight function. In this regard, the Committee of Defense and Security has done all what we could to make sure that this agreement comes to this Parliament at this time. Let me thank the Minister and the DCAF Gambia office. I thank you very much, and I beg to take my seat.
Speaker, Honorable Member for Busumbala, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. First of all, before I put up my deliberation, I want to thank the Office of the Clerk and your noble office for the improvement that we are realizing in the Parliament. No more signing, but electronically voting and the like. So obviously, I thank you for that.
Time being, for audit purposes.
No, I'm okay with the electronic. Maybe the BBCs can use the pen to sign.
No, the auditors are insisting that we still sign.
However, I thank you very much for that. Honorable Speaker, I want to refer the National Assembly to the responsibility they gave us. This is not the first time we have this agreement laid in the Parliament. It has been laid in the chambers and it was referred to us. But if they could remember, it was laid in a form of an MOU. So, and then to agreement. Now, I just want to tell the Assembly, my colleagues, that my committee have done a very good job. We've done a very good job to make sure that we thoroughly scrutinize, to make sure that we have a document that will not be a regret to the Gambia. If you look at DCAF is just like any other agencies existing in the country, but their case is peculiar and requires more thorough scrutiny because they are going to deal with our security. That was a problem that we make sure that we engage with them, scrutinize with them, and talk to them seriously to make sure that we have a document that will not be a regret. But what I want to put forward of us to the Assembly, within all those processes that we are doing, or we did with them, they were completely complying to all the recommendations that the National Assembly and the experts were put into them. That means that they don't have any other hidden agenda that they want to hide from the public or the Assembly. They agree on all the process, on all the recommendations from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, from the DCAF office. They agree totally that in the best interest of the country. And then we want to tell you that DCAF is already in existence because they have started some activities. So it would have been a question, what do we expect from them? You know, what are they doing or what are they going to do? First, I want to put it to the Assembly. Our committee is able to have the knowledge to be able to scrutinize security based or as a result of the capacity building programs we have at DCAF. So they were constantly in collaboration with our committee to empower us with the skills to be able to do our job on the security. Madam Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues to give their blessings to this document because it's long overdue, and then we are all yearning, praying what had happened not to happen. What had happened in the country for years, greater percentage of it was the security were used wrongly. Instead of they secure people, they were used to intimidate people. What causes that? It was because there were no legal framework that dictates the responsibility and the activities of the security by then. So when we came into power, through our scrutiny, we came to realize that there is a serious gap in the legal framework of all security institutions. So DCAF is working closely to make sure that to provide service with these security institutions, to make sure that to revive or to review their legal documents, that their acts, to make sure that they are up to standard and every security institution do what is expected of them. But more especially, and more important for that matter, is the civil oversight or civil authority over the security. That was lacking throughout the previous regime. But DCAF is trying to emphasize, to feature out the importance of civilian oversight over the security. And civilian oversight, when you talk about that, that's the National Assembly. So the National Assembly's role is very, very key. So you see that this document or agreement is trying to bring into that. And I also want to put it to the colleagues. Most of all your concerns that we are raised here, they were taken seriously. And they were discussed and they were agreed on to the best interest of the country. So as a member of the committee, just to add my voice to my chairman, that to report to you that we have done this work diligently. Why we didn't report? Why we didn't report? Because we said after everything, we want the minister to come and relay it again, to be a fresh document that to tell you that we have done the job that we are assigned to do, and then. Yeah. If I said the technology is doing good, but this is the second time I'm seeing them offering on people's mic. Minister was talking, his mic was off, and I also talking, my mic is off. Let's improve. Okay, just to close it up, I want to urge my colleagues. This is a done deal. The activities of DCAF, people have seen it, and then they are working closely with us. We've seen the importance of having an institution like DCAF in the country to work and empower us to do our job. And then the security institutions are also complying to the work of the DCAF. Presently, as it is now, the Act for NIA is being reviewed through the effort of DCAF, the police, the army. So we want to bring all those acts to review them and bring them to the parliament so that we can upgrade them to the best standard of the society. But also, Madam Speaker, my last point. DCAF, when we would ask, this is a name, DCAF. It is an international agency, yes. But presently, as it is, all the people that are within the office of DCAF are Gambians. So that's a very good opportunity for us to know that it is a Gambian who is the head presently as DCAF, and all the employees are DCAF. So they have scrutinized this in their side as Gambians. So that means we are hopeful they will never sacrifice the country for any other benefits. So they believe that Gambia first, so they have that sense of Gambianism in the process. So on that note, Madam Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues to give their blessings to the document. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Serakunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Being the Vice Chair of the Standing Committee on Defense and Security, I would confirm what the Chair has said, that the relationship between the Ministry and the Standing Committee deepened as we scrutinize the MOU that was initially presented for adoption. It was felt that in the past, the government did not take its dutiful position in ensuring that it gives legitimacy to institutions that deserve legitimacy, and in a manner that will be in line with our constitutional provisions. Section 79 of the Constitution gives the President the mandate to conduct relations with states and international organizations. And DCAF is considered to be an international organization. So the status of the organization had to be examined, and it was examined thoroughly. The changes in name, and ultimately that had to be captured in the agreement to be, because it was felt that if we did not, then there would be some ambiguity in the substance of the agreement itself. Honorable Speaker, Section 79 makes it a conditionality that we should not enter into any agreement that does not serve national interests or that is derogatory from the sovereignty of our land. That became the cornerstone for reviewing the agreement that was crafted. And Honorable Speaker, we are confident that the Parliament did its work in assisting the ministry to be looking at such agreements in greater depth and ultimately come up with something that will serve those two pillars. That whatever we sign must be in the national interests and must not be derogatory from the sovereignty of the land. Honorable Speaker, the key issue why DCAF is here is also covered in the agreement itself. One would see that there is the desire for retroactive effect of the agreement, because DCAF has been here since 2018, carrying out quite a lot of functions, and would want its legal status to be recognized by the government so that it will have greater protection of its staff, of its office, of those who come from other countries to serve it, and it is that legal status that it sought which gave birth to its negotiation with the ministry for an agreement that will cover that legal status, that will give it legal protection. Apparently, that is the sole objective of DCAF, that is to have an agreement that will secure its legal status in the Gambia so that it will continue to be able to operate as per purpose. The purpose of DCAF is clearly defined, that its aim is to support the security sector reform process so that there will be civilian control of the security apparatus, but also encourage a civil-military relationship, civil security relationship, so that the armed forces will be democratized and to serve the democratic end. That they will be seen not only to be responsible for protecting security of our country, but also human security. In that respect, it is deemed necessary to transform the instruments, the institutions, and the mindset in these forces, which is not possible unless we come up with a security sector policy, and eventually the policy will guide the creation of the instruments and the institutions and the training necessary to be able to build the new security apparatus that is deemed to be absolutely necessary under a new dispensation. Honorable Speaker, that is the objective of the institution, to accompany the country in mobilizing expertise from all over the world to be able to engage those who are policymakers, legislators, as well as those who are engaged in operation at the level of security, to be able to learn from best practice, and in that sense to cushion our whole movement towards security reform, so that Gambia, which depends largely on sending our troops elsewhere in order to protect other lands, would actually be ready for that peacekeeping mission that should be the fundamental function of an army under a stable society, and in that regard assist our men and women in uniform to be able to not only have decent lives, but also serve to safeguard our national interests and the lives and properties of our people. So in that respect, Honorable Speaker, there will only be one thing that the Minister may alert his mind to, that is what constitutes the definition of government. We said that the Constitution has already defined that, and we should just take what the Constitution says when it comes to that definition, because that is the founding base of all laws. So when it says it is defining government, it should take exactly what the Constitution says, that is the executive government of the Gambia. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Any more interventions? Any honorable member wishes to come up? Yes, Birkama's out.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to thank the Standing Committee of Security, Standing Committee for...
You can put your, let me have your constituency tag so that I can record them. Any further? Woolly East? Any more? Any more? Any more? Okay, thank you.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I want to seize this opportunity to thank the Standing Committee for Defense and Security for working closely with the ministry to look at this agreement thoroughly, which is very, very important. I know they've did a good job, but still we have to go further. The committee still have a moral responsibility with regards to this particular issue. If you look at the 2016 government, it has a moral responsibility, which is based on a special agenda, the reform agenda. And notably among them is the security sector reform, which is very key. If you talk about security, generally what comes to the minds of every Gambian, there is a serious misconception that needs to be clear. If you talk about security, people think they are brutal institutions. People are not very much confident. So there is this disparity between the security and the civilian. So which is very, very, very key, and that needs to be addressed. More especially if you talk about the police, the army, and the paramilitary. People are never confident with them. How do we break this disparity? Because if you look at the security, all of them are recruited among us. They are our brothers, our sisters, our uncles. So that coexistence must be there. we have to understand we are two sides of the same coin. So the committee still have a responsibility to go further, to come out with a clear-cut policy that will make us understand so that we can be at the same wavelength in terms of understanding. The security reform is very key, and this is long overdue. But thank God it is stable. You still have a lot of work to do. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm very much happy for this particular agreement to come on board, which we are expecting. We need complete reform in this country. And on that note, I am giving my blessing to this particular agreement, and I hope and strongly pray it will address our problem. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Woolly East, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to give my blessing to this agreement. And I want to thank the committee, Defense Committee, for working very closely with the ministry. And I'm very happy with the clarifications that were made before me. Honorable Speaker, we are speaking about security governance. And we all know the situation of security in our country. Anybody who is following the security situation of this country will appreciate reform in that area. The agreement should improve accountability. And from what I have heard, if everything goes well, accountability in our security sector will be the order of the day, which will also go, of course, to creating peace, not only between Gambia and other countries, but also between different communities. And I believe this reform will encompass transparency, which is, of course, the cornerstone of accountability. Without transparency, no accountability. And, Honorable Speaker, I believe this agreement will also move us away from just security for the state. The people must be secure. The citizens of the country must be secure. And when I say that, I mean citizens and their properties must be secure. Many a time you hear people coming from outside, they just wrestle all the cattle from the border areas and take them. No security. You have people at Makmasere, they have their guns, but they don't even have a motorbike. So how can they secure that area? So when we talk about security, our people and their properties must be secure. Honorable Speaker, I heard the Minister talk about design and taking into consideration many other things. But I believe whatever design we have must include what I've already said. The collaboration should also include training of our security forces in terms of espionage, in terms of investigation. I think investigation is something that is lacking. Which means we must improve on our investigation process. And the Parliament must not stay on its laurels. We must be fully involved in this oversight process during this reform process, especially in the area of budgeting. We must do proper budgeting for the security sector, but we must also play our oversight role during the implementation of that budget to ensure that whatever we budget, it must not be in secret and it must serve the expectation of the people. So on that note, I thank the committee, I thank the ministry for all the clarification that they have given and the information, and I fully support the DCAF. Thank you very much.
If I don't have any more interventions, well, I asked, didn't I? Well, I did not see. I asked 3 times. Am I right or not? Yes. You can have the floor, but I did ask.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor to add my voice. As I am a member of the Standing Committee for Defense and Security. So obviously this document cannot lay in this August House without adding my voice. As the previous speakers have said before, this committee has definitely, tirelessly, with DCAF and Foreign Ministry, to look into the MOU. Until now, it has transformed to become an agreement. Because at first it was an MOU, as we all could remember, then it was referred to the Standing Committee for Defense and Security. Through there, we are able to work with the Foreign Ministry to see that instead of MOU, it has to come in a form of agreement, which now is laid before this August House. I must, Honorable Speaker, thank the care of the committee and the vice chair and all other members, my colleagues, that the good work we have done together with the Foreign Ministry. So that's why I just feel to rise up and then add my voice. You see, this is what is expected from us as a representative of the nation. As we all know, as member for Congo South has said, lamented on the security situation in this country. So if we happen to have an institution like, an agency like DCAF, what the public would expect from them and the Standing Committee for Defense and Security to do their job well, to see that the country is at safe hand. Country, we must not compromise the security. It's first, whatever one do in this world, if you don't have security, it's mainly because you cannot be succeeded when you don't have security. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm urging all my honorable colleagues, without wasting time, for us to adopt this agreement once and for all. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Once more, any more interventions? No? Okay, thank you very much, honorable members. Excuse me. May I now call upon the mover of the motion, that is the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, to respond to some of the issues, if any, that have been raised, and to wind up the debate before we proceed. Honorable Minister, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this August Assembly. I want to sincerely seize this opportunity to commend all the National Assembly members for sending us back to the drawing board. Actually, before we sign any agreement, it goes through a system of scrutiny. Foreign Affairs will not just come and sign it. We send it to the Ministry of Justice to look at it before we bring it to this August Assembly. But I must commend you for doing your work and raising very pertinent observation, especially when it comes to security issues. I think we should not compromise on standard. And I want to sincerely congratulate the Standing Committee on Defense and Security for scrutinizing in a very meticulous way this document. And all your concerns were taken on board, and we also invited all the stakeholders, and that ensured the participatory manner in which we deal with this document. I think if we deal with all the agreements like this, we'll capture our interests and our sovereignty will be guaranteed. So I once again want to congratulate all of you and thank you for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are we all satisfied? I don't think there were any contentious issues. No? Okay. Thank you very much. Now I'll put the question. Be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do ratify the agreement between the Government of the Republic of the Gambia and DCAF, that is the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance, for the establishment of a DCAF office in the Gambia. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. The agreement is hereby ratified. Thank you very much. Clerk, can we proceed with the next item?
Motion. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the establishment of the Gambia-Mauritania Parliamentary Friendship Group by the Honorable Majority Leader and Member for Kombo South.
Thank you very much. Honorable Majority Leader, you can move your motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move that this August Assembly do consider and adopt this motion for the establishment of a parliamentary friendship group between the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia and the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. Honorable Speaker, the setting up of the parliamentary friendship group between the Republic of the Gambia and the Islamic Republic of Mauritania is very important and indeed long overdue. The Republic of the Gambia and the Islamic Republic of Mauritania are bonded historically and religiously and further cemented by the common interests of the two people through the cultural and commercial activities. This is further evidenced by the considerable presence of citizens in both states. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, one would immediately note from the outset the crucial role the two parliaments would play in strengthening and diversify these relations for the mutual benefits of both countries and overcome challenges faced by the sub-region. Honorable Speaker, such increased blurring of boundaries between the national and foreign affairs means that the parliamentarians must consider issues put before them with a global mindset. Not surprised, the decades of parliamentary diplomacy and fast taking roots with a growing interest among parliaments to oversee and scrutinize the executive foreign policies. Consequently, this motion precisely seeks to place this parliament in the same trajectory of global demand. The establishment of the parliamentary friendship group will enhance the collaboration and strengthen the already existing cordial bilateral relations between the Republic of the Gambia and the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. Honorable Speaker, considering the profound historic, diplomatic, and cultural relationships between the two countries, recognizing the abilities of and crucial roles that the two legislatures could play in maintaining this profound historic, diplomatic, and cultural relationship between the two countries. Appreciating the irrefutable fact that both parliaments would contribute to the development of the already existing fruitful bilateral relationships, noting that establishing such diplomatic ties between the two countries will further strengthen the political and mutual trust, as well as assist in the areas of trade and people-to-people relations. Mandate of the friendship.
1, to foster the interparliamentary diplomacy and to further contribute to the development of the bilateral and cooperative relations. 2, to foster relations that promote mutual exchange in the areas of development of the two legislatures. And 3, to serve as the linkage between the two legislatures on all matters of cooperation and support. Membership to the group. The Gambia-Mauritania Friendship Group shall consist of chairperson and 8 other members. Membership to this group shall be nominated by the Committee of Election in accordance with the standing orders. 3, membership shall reflect the direct political opinions as well as gender. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I move that this August Assembly do consider and adopt this motion for the establishment of the Gambia-Mauritania Parliamentary Friendship Group between the National Assemblies of the Republic of the Gambia and the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. Any seconder, honorable members? Yes, Fonyi Brevet. Got my eye first.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion. And Honorable Speaker, with your permission, please give me a couple of minutes to further thank the mover for laying before us quite an important motion. The Gambia, like any other country, cannot be an island. We must learn to live together. We must learn to educate each other. And we must learn to establish mutual relations that will be in the best relations of both parties. And as a result, the Gambia and Mauritania have a very, very long standing relations, and we must be in a position to nurture and strengthen that relation. So this motion couldn't have come at a better time. So on that note, I want to thank the mover for bringing before this National Assembly quite a very important motion, and I support the motion. Thank you.
I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the establishment of the Gambia-Mauritania Parliamentary Friendship Group. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Now, any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so. You can raise your constituency tags, and we'll take you'll take the by constituency. The honorable nominated member, please. Nominated member, say.
Thank you very much, Ma. Let me commend the mover for bringing this important motion that between the Gambia and Mauritania. There is nothing like friendship. When we talk about friendship, nobody will say no. Obviously, nobody will say no to this. We always need to be together, come together, work together, especially West African countries, and much beyond. Much more, Mauritania and the Gambia. But my issue here is that let it be reciprocal. Let it be reciprocal. Whatever is necessary for the Gambians, let it be for the Gambians, and the same thing happens to Mauritania. I think what we need here is mutual understanding and mutual respect. Because looking at the sovereignty of each country, let us not talk about friendship, but let us think of the interest that will be between all of us, two of us. What Gusi needs is what Ghana needs also. So I think it's true, we need friendship. But for me, the Gambia also should have the interest of anything that we are doing. Let us not say friendship and then that's all. What will happen to us if we come up with this friendship? What is the benefit to the Gambians and the benefit to the Mauritanians? So I will not say no, I support it, but let us also think about all those things that we are talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It is clearly stipulated in the motion that this is an era of parliamentary diplomacy, and that is the cornerstone of the attempt to create this I emphasize, Honorable Speaker, that this is the era of parliamentary diplomacy, and this is clearly indicated in the statement, in the motion, to create this parliamentary friendship group. Honorable Speaker, what we are bound to respect is the constitution of the land in entering into any agreement, as well as our standing orders. The principle of building up relationship with states falls under the jurisdiction of the presidency at the level of states. But parliaments also have a role in legislating and carrying out oversight. So in that respect, best practice could be developed through interparliamentary relationships. Not only that, diplomacy requires also people-to-people relationship, and parliaments are put in office by the very people themselves to speak on their behalf. The relationship between parliamentarians would therefore reflect a people-to-people relationship that would be peculiar if pursued for its proper objectives. It has been made clear that the people of Mauritania and the Gambia have long-standing relationship. Paragraph 2, Honorable Speaker, did indicate how we share historical, but it also mentioned religion. And this is where the concern is. We must be careful to know who we are speaking for when we are to enter into a relationship. Here we are not talking about Gambia being this type of state based on certain concepts of religion, but it's a state which recognizes all religions and protects all religions. So when we enter into some agreement, the drafter must tell us what is being meant when this is mentioned. Is it a specific religion that is being referred to, or religion as a whole? That is important. Honorable Speaker, it is also significant to look at the establishment of the committees. We will see that when it comes to membership, of course, the paragraphs are not actually numbered, but it should be the last paragraph in page, the pages also are not numbered, so it's also difficult. But it's the paragraph that deals with membership. It talks about the membership shall, that's the last sentence, membership shall reflect the different political opinions as well as gender. Well, what is in Standing Order 95.3 is that every committee shall be constituted as far as possible to ensure that the balance of parties in the assembly is reflected. It is better to use that language rather than political opinions, because you can be in a party and still have a different political opinion or same political opinion with somebody else. So essentially, it's really the balance of the parties rather than opinions. In that respect, Honorable Speaker, there is no doubt that Africa needs to integrate, and Parliament must be found to be at the heart of building that integration. And the more we build relationship with our colleagues elsewhere, the more we contribute to that integration. I fully support the motion.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Member for Jara East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I rise to contribute on the motion for the establishment of Gambia-Mauritania Parliamentary Friendship Group between the National Assemblies of the Republic of the Gambia and the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. Honorable Speaker, this motion is really timely. Timely in the sense that for the fact that we cannot live independently of each other, there is need for us to forge partnerships, and there is need for us to forge relationships. Relationships bordering on mutuality, a relationship that could be described as symbiotic, a relationship that could be described as reciprocal, give and take. Honorable Speaker, if you come to the motion, it is clearly stated, with your permission, Honorable Speaker, that such increased blurring of boundaries within national and foreign affairs means that parliamentarians must consider issues put before them with a global mindset. Not surprised, the victims of parliamentary diplomacy are fast taking roots with a growing interest among parliaments to oversee and scrutinize the executive's foreign policies. Honorable Speaker, this is quite refreshing. For the fact that no nation is an island, we must be each other's keeper. That is a must. And with this parliamentary friendship, Madam Speaker, it will help us to integrate with our brothers and sisters that are beyond our shores. It will also, help us to have cooperation within our sister parliaments. Honorable Speaker, but when we have this relationship in place, I think we must all work very seriously to make sure they are fit for purpose. Because having a parliamentary friendship group is one thing. To have it activated is another thing. And I hope these parliamentary friendship groups will be activated so that they will serve their purpose. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the mandate, with your indulgence, it reads mandate to foster interparliamentary diplomacy and to further contribute to the development of the bilateral and cooperative relationships, to foster relations that promote mutual exchange in the areas of development of the two legislatures, to serve as the linkage between the two legislatures on all matters of cooperation and support. Honorable Speaker, the mandate is speaking the language of the ECOWAS protocol, that is the sub-regional bloc, that people are free to move from one country to another, and that it is no longer an ECOWAS of nations, but it's an ECOWAS of people to people. That speaks volumes of integration. And I hope this motion will serve to deepen that element of integration, Madam Speaker. Without much ado, I beg to take my seat. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Talindi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. I will also like to join my colleagues to add my support to the Interparliamentary Friendship Group between the Republic of the Gambia and the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. Honorable Speaker, going through the document, as earlier alluded by the Honorable Minister, that we share the same historical and religious aspect. Large number of Gambians are in Mauritania seeking for Islamic knowledge, and also there are a large number of Mauritanians who are looking for better life in the Gambia. But going through the other part where they said with the parliamentary relationship will smoothen the people-to-people relationship, I think we need to buttress more on that, because our young migrants who passed through Mauritania went through serious challenges with the interparliamentary relationship group, I think we will address some of those issues so that our young migrants who travel through the Mauritania will not face some of these challenges. Thank you.
Any more contributions, interventions? No? Okay. In that case, may I now call upon the majority leader, the mover of the motion, to wind up the debate?
Thank you very much.
There were just few issues raised by, if my memory serves me right, Serekunda, and that's the religious aspect, and Talinding also raised the issue of the migrants. Thank you. Passing to Mauritania.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to thank all honorable colleagues who have also debated and talked and support the motion that has been laid before them. I think one key area that has been highlighted is the timeliness of this thing, looking at the status of the Gambia where we situate ourselves as members of the ECOWAS community, and I think it is important that having this legislation relationship between the two parliamentary groups will give an opportunity for both countries to learn more about the cultural well-being of the people. And I think the nominated member also do talk about the importance of working together as people within the sub-region, which will bring more mutual understanding and also bring proper economic values to the citizens of our communities, which she also highlighted that is so important, but one needs to be very careful to ensure that the interest of the Gambia is at the back of our mind at all times. The Honorable Member for Serekunda did talk about the parliamentary democracy, which is very important and pertinent in the work that we are going to do. And the outcome of this friendship group will also give the opportunity to both parliamentarians to speak to their colleagues in all the regions. And he also looked at the constitutionality and also the standing orders of the National Assembly, which we also have to bear in mind and ensure that we adhere to the languages that are stated in the standing orders. So the issue of he talked about the ensure that we speak the language. So the section on mandate will be looked at and it will be couched, and then to speak the language of the standing orders and the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. And I think those are very important. When we have to do things, we have to make sure that what we are saying is in line with the Constitution and also the standing orders of the National Assembly. The Honorable Member for Jara East also talked about the importance of this, and which is very. It has to be a two-way thing. It does not just have to be there. And when they are done, what we need to do to ensure that it's well reactivated so that the principles and mandates and objectives of the relationship is also enhanced and ensure that we work according to what is stated on this thing. And he really went further to talk about the cooperation between the two countries and looking at the Gambia where we are situated to look at the ETWA protocol of the free movement of people and their goods in the sub-region. And I think those are very key. Honorable Member for Talindin speaks about the ECOWAS protocol and also the importance, how do we strengthen to ensure that our young people who are crossing the Sahara Delta to other destinations to travel to other parts of the country. So we need to see to it that these protocols are enhanced and also implemented to the latter, and also ensuring that these are treaties that are signed. That gives us the opportunity to be able to work towards as a people of community in the sub-region. And I think those are very key things. With that, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank all the members for their contribution, and then the selection committee will look at couching some of the sections and also they speak in the language of the Constitution and standing orders. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Majority. I equally thank the honorable members for their contributions. And then I will put the question, be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the establishment of the Gambia-Mauritania Parliamentary Friendship Group. Those in favor, please say, sorry.
Amendments. With amendments.
Sorry?
With amendments.
Right, yeah, I'll have to do it again. Yeah, let me, I had not even finished the sentence. Be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the establishment of the Gambia-Mauritania Parliamentary Friendship Group with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Clerk, can we proceed?
Yes, motion. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the establishment of the Gambia-Serbia Parliamentary Friendship Group by the Honorable Majority Leader and Member for Kombo South.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the motion for the establishment of a parliamentary friendship group between the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia and Serbia. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, Dr. Mahmoud Tangara, on Tuesday, 9 February 2021, received a letter of credence from the Ambassador of the Republic of Serbia to the Gambia. This is the first time ever a Serbian ambassador is accredited to the Republic of the Gambia. The Republic of the Gambia has recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the Republic of Serbia to foster parliamentary diplomacy, social and economic developments between the two countries. Notwithstanding, both countries have been supporting each other welfare at third world countries, and the Republic of Serbia recognizes the tremendous support the government of the Gambia has offered them, especially on the candidature to the position of Executive Council at UNESCO. Honorable Speaker, this motion seeks to establish and strengthen the already bilateral relations that exist between the two sister countries. Honorable Speaker, noting that the establishment of such diplomatic ties between the two countries will further strengthen the political and mutual trust, economic and trade cooperation, as well as people-to-people relations and exchange programs. Recognizing the great importance Serbia attaches to the relation with the Gambia by committing it herself to providing the necessary support to Gambians' development agenda to improve the welfare of the people and promote sustainable development. Recognizing that the relations between the two legislatures are an important part of the bilateral ties between the two countries. Realizing the National Assembly of Serbia has already established a parliamentary friendship group between Serbia and the Gambia. Appreciating that the National Assembly of Serbia is willing to work with the National Assembly of the Gambia to contribute to the development of the already existing fruitful bilateral relations. Mandate of the group: to foster interparliamentary diplomacy and to further contribute to the development of the bilateral and cooperative relations. 2, to foster relations that promote mutual exchange in the areas of development of the two legislatures. And 3, to serve as the language between the two legislatures on all cooperation and support. Membership: the Gambia-Serbia Friendship Group will consist of a chairperson and 8 other members. Members to the group shall be nominated by the Committee of Selection in accordance with the standing orders. Membership shall reflect the political opinion as well as gender. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I move that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the motion for the establishment of the Gambia-Serbia Parliamentary Friendship Group between the National Assembly of the Gambia and Serbia. I beg to move.
Thank you very much, Ma. I rise to second the motion that the friendship between the Gambia and Serbia. I think Serbia and the Gambia, how we are, that if you look at our countries, I think they are the same as far as they are saying that we are small countries. But if you look at it, that is something that I just dispute, because I don't see anything like a small country or a big country. I think being big or being small, I think it's development that we need. And when we talk about development, we are not saying nothing but mutual relationship with other countries. I think to me, this is what matters. So if we are talking about the relationship between the Gambia and Serbia, I don't think there is any issue. Just as I mentioned earlier, let us look at the benefits of this country, the country first. I'm not saying that we should not establish any relationship with any other country, but for me, the Gambia matters. What we need for Serbia should be what we need for the Gambia, and what we need for the Gambia should be what we need for Serbia. I think this cordial relationship, we nurture it, make sure that the National Assembly members here, we know what we want. I think the parliament in Serbia, they know what they want already. Now it is up to us to look at what we want, and then we show them that this is what we want. As it is mentioned in the motion, the diplomacy is always matters. So with those notes, I want to thank the mover and support it.
Thank you very much. I think, has the motion been seconded? Yes, oh, yeah, she moved, yeah. It has been moved and seconded. Now, no. Yeah, let's put the question first. Yes, I'm sorry, my papers just got jumbled up. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the establishment of the Gambia-Serbia Parliamentary Friendship Group. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so now. I had already recognized the honorable member for Jara East, but we will still take some. Honorable member for Jara East, you have the
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I rise to contribute my quota to motion for the establishment of Gambia-Serbia Parliamentary Friendship Group between the National Assemblies of the Republic of the Gambia and Serbia. Honorable Speaker, I'll be very brief. Honorable Speaker, what we are doing today here is very important. Important in the sense that it will help enhance our polity. It is good for our polity as a country. Honorable Speaker, Serbia is found in the southeastern part of Europe, and its capital is Belgrade. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the distance between the Serbia and the Gambia, and you think of Gambia establishing a relationship, that shows that our doors are open when it comes to friendship. That shows that we have a global mindset. That shows that we are ready to entertain and accommodate our friends that are further afield. It is very healthy for our polity, Madam Speaker, and I hope all the good things that are embedded in this motion will come to fruition. Without much ado, thank you very much, and I want to thank the mover for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The objective is to expand the relationship of this parliament with other parliaments all over the world. We're just gathering information of developments that had actually taken place between the Gambia and Serbia, as indicated in the motion itself. This is what mandates us to develop parliamentary democracy, so that countries will not be judged by the executives or seen to be owned by the executive. The state will be broadened not only to be seen to be representative from the executive, but to constitute its parliamentary arm. And the more we strengthen such diplomacy, the more we'll be able to scrutinize international agreements, international relations. Honorable Speaker, Serbia is not an ordinary country. Serbia has a history. It was not Serbia before. It was Yugoslavia. And we know the war that took place, tearing Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and now Serbia. These were all integrated. They fought together to liberate themselves from international domination. Belgrade became the center of the non-aligned movement when the world was torn between a war between the Soviet Union and the United States, affecting the liberation struggle in all parts of the world. They decided to become independent of those two forces and stuck together in order to promote the liberation of many, many countries. But eventually, that Yugoslavia was torn apart. A war where you still have war criminals being sought after because of the atrocities that were carried out against human beings. So if Serbia is now healing, knowing where it came from, this is a country that we can build a relationship with, because it will learn from us, we will learn from them, and together we can learn from history that we need to converge as economies that had always been under subjugation to see how we can empower each other for our collective liberation. So in essence, what this parliament is seeking to do is timely and is expanding into a terrain where we'll be respected and we'll respect them so that collectively we create the architecture of a new international economic order and political order where we matter rather than be seen as simply dependents. Honorable Speaker, just as I have said before, the membership should also couch what is in the standing orders, and I believe that the document will be fit for purpose. Thank you.
Any more interventions? Okay. When I saw the motion, what came to my mind was the last IPU meeting in Serbia, and our honorable members nearly had issues with their visas. And the embassy, the Serbian embassy in Nigeria, in Abuja, communicated to our embassy there, and they got in touch with us. And I think honorable members who went to Serbia via Abuja can vouch to the fact that they were very helpful in facilitating their travel. So if we have this friendship group, it will further help to facilitate anything that the parliamentarians may need. It just came to my mind, yes?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. You are quite right, Madam Speaker. We are the committee who went to start standing committee, IPU, International Parliamentary Committee, who went to Serbia, where the conference took place. And we are also opportunate with our chair, the Deputy Speaker, when we had a tete-a-tete with the government itself, invite our, Gambian committee so that we can have in that meeting, the members understand, raise this issue. And they are very, 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 interested to have a relationship, very good relationship with Gambia. Definitely, Honorable Speaker. On that note, thank you. I think it is really timely, as said by the member for Serekunda, that, now it's timely that understand because they also want to go out. Lobby people, they want to have international relationship with all over the world, with countries, particularly countries like Gambia, so peaceful, that and having relationship with us definitely to yield something, in near future. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. It is true that the IPU meeting was held in Serbia sometime last year, and the IPU delegation, headed by myself, were in Serbia. It was a very interesting and important meeting internationally. We made some visits. We were invited by the Speaker of the Serbian Parliament, myself, and the delegation. We had a very interesting interactions with the members, and this idea of forging an international parliamentary body was discussed. The Speaker and the team were very happy with that, suggestions and ideas. Country like Gambia, far off from their own country, this is where the whole thing starts. And I'm happy that the Minister of Foreign Affairs is contacted on the issue. And now, today, the motion is before us as Parliament, as a Parliamentary Friendship Association. I think if this motion is ratified by this August body, it will certainly yield dividend for our Parliament and the country at large. Serbia is very far off, but I think having this parliamentary relation will bring Gambia and Serbia together. On that note, I'm urging the honorable members to support this opportunity. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more interventions? No? Okay, thank you. Then we can proceed. May I now call upon the mover to respond to the various issues raised and to wind up the debate? Honorable Majority, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Again, I must say that I'm really appreciative of the comments and the encouragement that had come from all the members that has participated in the debate and given their support to the adoption of the motion. Starting with the mover who just seconded the motion, Honorable nominated Yasin Seka, has also again stressed the need for Gambia first in whatever we want to do, and ensure that we do everything that we are going to do is in the best interest of the Gambian people. And she also went further to talk about the need for ensuring that we should not see ourselves as small countries in the world, but what is more important is our role and what we can do and the mutual relationship that we can have. And the Gambia is also, will have to, as members of this National Assembly, we need to nurture the relationship between the two parliaments when it is finally settled. The Honorable Member for Jara East went over to talk about the importance of these things that will enable us to enhance our policies of the country. And he went further to explain how extraordinary the capital city, Belgrade, of Serbia it is. The capital of Serbia is one of the most sophisticated and well-constructed city in the world. If we just click and look at the capital city, look at the architectural work that has taken place in that country, you will see that the country has come a long way. And the people are very much committed and they are very much creative in the work that they're going to do. So this relationship will also help our Gambians to also learn about the importance of these exchange visits. Because one of the key areas of the exchange visits in all over the world is for one to be able to learn about yourself, about other people's culture, and enables you to make a decision that will help you on your undertakings and will put you in a right footing to ensure that whatever is done in the best interest of this. And this will strengthen the parliamentary friendships and the one-to-one interaction. The Honorable Member for Serekunda also went over to elaborate on the need, this one that will do for the expansion of the relationship between the two countries. He gave a brief history of what the people of Serbia did, looking at the struggle that they did to liberate themselves from internal aggression, and that leads to the establishment of the country, which it has divided into things. And those are very important things that they look into. And as National Assembly members, so some of these historic aspects that has taken place in Serbia and to lead them to wherever they are today is going to help us to be able to take stock of all the things that has happened in the past and learn from that and to ensure that the best practices are taken to help us to ensure that we continue to do these things. He went further again to remind the selection committee to look at the wordings and also couch them to be in line with the language of the Constitution and also the standing orders of the National Assembly. Honorable nominated Majanko Samusa, who was a member of the delegation to the International Parliamentary Union meeting in Serbia, also lamented on the importance of the visits and some of the key things that they had learned with these things, and it's helped them to be able to see the difference about all other things that are doing, and this will enable them to strengthen the cultural ties between the two countries, and that will help the National Assembly members to work in a way that will be more helpful to them. The Honorable Deputy Speaker, who was the head of the delegation to the International Parliamentary meeting in Serbia, said that they held extensive meetings with the Speaker of the National Assembly, their colleague parliamentarians, and suggested the need for this friendship group to be established between the Republic of the Gambia and the Republic of Serbia with the intervention of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that this thing has come into fruition, and here we are, that we are now ratifying the motion to have this friendship between the Republic of the Gambia and the Republic of Serbia. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I want to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and all equal thanks go to the honorable members for their contribution. And now may I put the question, be it resolved that this honorable assembly do adopt the establishment of a Gambia-Serbia parliamentary friendship group. No amendments. Those in favor? There's an amendment. So, with amendments, then we can have amendments for all of them so that they will comply with the standing order requirements. Be it resolved that this honorable assembly do adopt the establishment of the Gambia-Serbia parliamentary friendship group with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. We can now proceed. Thank you very much.
Motion.
Let's make sure that the amendments are reflected. Thank you.
Motion. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the establishment of Gambia Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela Parliamentary Friendship Group.
Yes, Honorable Majority Leader, you move your motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the motion for the establishment of a parliamentary friendship group between the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia and the Bolivian Republic of Venezuela. Honorable Speaker, the revolutionary and socialist government of the Bolivian Republic of Venezuela, led by the late President Hugo Chavez, sought to ties with the Republic of the Gambia during the African Union Summit held in the Gambia in 2006. The ties were established within the framework of the 7th African Summit held in the Gambia in 2006. Over the years, both countries have witnessed fruitful bilateral ties with the areas of education, health, agriculture, tourism, and culture, and others. This was further manifested during the celebrations making the Venezuela 200 years of independence in the Gambia in 2010. Honorable Speaker, this motion seeks to strengthen the already bilateral relations that exist between the two sister countries. Honorable Speaker, noting that the establishing such diplomatic ties between the two countries will further strengthen the political and mutual trust, as well as help in the areas of trade and people-to-people relations. Recognizing the great importance Venezuela attaches to the relations with the Gambia, by providing Venezuelan international scholarship program to needy Gambian students to pursue various degree programs and disciplines such as civil engineering, science and technology, computer science, etc. Considering that these relations between the two legislatures are an important part of the bilateral ties between the two countries. Appreciating that the National Assembly of Venezuela is willing to work with the National Assembly of the Gambia to ensure to the development of the already fruitful bilateral relations. The mandate of the group: 1, to foster interparliamentary diplomacy and to further contribute to the development of the bilateral cooperative relations, to foster relations that promote mutual exchange in areas of development of the two legislatures. 3, to serve as the linkage between the two legislatures on all cooperations and support. Membership: the Gambia-Venezuela group shall consist of a chairperson and 8 other members. Members to the group shall be nominated by the Committee of Selection in accordance with the standing orders. Membership shall reflect the different political opinion as well as gender. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I move that this August Assembly do consider and adopt this motion for the establishment of the Gambia-Venezuela Parliamentary Friendship Group between the National Assembly of the Gambia and Venezuela. I beg to move.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable Member for Funi, Bintang Karanlai.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I second the motion and would like to just briefly talk about the relationship. Madam Speaker, as previous speaker said, to have relationship with any parliamentary friendship is very important because we have known the cordial relationship between the government and the Gambia and Venezuela. And as the Mufa rightly said, they are helping us in education, health, agriculture, and tourism, and so many things. So to have a relationship with the two parliaments, I think is very important. It will further cement the cordial relationship that is coexisting between the two countries. I think I give my blessing to this relationship. But Madam Speaker, may I further emphasize on the selection committee, because I want them to make sure that the selection is done according to what they stated, the political and ethnic and gender. Because you have seen when last time we were selected for the other international friendship committees, what happened here. We don't want that to happen again. I'm strictly advising them to go by the criteria they have mentioned here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the establishment of the Gambia Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela Parliamentary Friendship Group. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Now, honorable members who wish to take part in the debate may do so by raising their constituency tag. I will first recognize Woolley East and then Sami. Thank you. Then Banjul North, is it? Oh, Central, and then Senegal.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes, I rise to also lend my support to this motion for these two parliaments, Venezuela and Gambia, to engage in parliamentary friendship. Honorable Speaker, friendship with Venezuela Parliament and the Gambia can go a long way in building our capacity, not only in our role as Parliament, but also enable us to learn to be resilient against abnormal times and circumstances. Honorable Speaker, Venezuela is known for its capacity to resist attempts to thwart its sovereignty and independence. They have 200 years of experience as an independent state, a developing country. So I believe we can learn a lot from this country. Honorable Speaker, the friendship will also go to build on the South-South cooperation, which will go all the way to cement partnerships in our development endeavors. It has already been said the areas we are involved in terms of development, education, health, agriculture, tourism, as well as culture. There is a lot we can learn from this country to help us to nurture the people-to-people relationship as well, which is very, very important in our these friendships. This will also help us to contribute our quota in the process of building peace in the world. Without further ado, I want to register my support for this particular motion. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Banjul Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. Madam Speaker, I would also like to give my support to the friendship establishment that we want to make between the government of the Gambia and the Republic of Venezuela. We all know that Venezuela, during the last regime, has been very helpful. Within a short period of time, they did a lot for the Republic of the Gambia. And among those, they have helped in different sectors. And among those, in education, they were able to donate or to fund the construction of the University of the Gambia at Paraba, Bantam, with an amount of $12 million, which was very helpful. Dollars rather, sorry. Secondly, they have been helping in agriculture. If we can all recall, they have donated so many tractors, brand new ones, to the agriculture sector in the Gambia, which was a very good gesture that helped the country to improve in agriculture. They've also helped in education. The Republic of Venezuela, we are able to sponsor more than 200 Gambians to have degrees in different fields. Among those, among them, 60 of them are now qualified medical doctors, which is a very good thing to the Gambia. We all know that we are still in need of medical doctors, and Venezuela was able to help. They've also financed the surgery for children with heart problems or heart complications, which most of the time, if we have those problems, we always go abroad to do those treatments, and which we all know that it is very expensive to pay for those surgeries abroad. So Venezuela has been helping in that area too. Coming to energy, they've donated $22 million for the expansion and upgrading of electricity in the Greater Banjul area. So it's a country that has been helping the Gambia a lot. So building a relationship between two parliaments, I believe that this parliament will benefit more than they will benefit from us. The relationship is all about benefits. So we have to see our interests and see that we can have a lot from this parliament in terms of capacity. We can be making exchange programs. This parliament can go to Venezuela to do, like, for example, intensive Spanish program, so that some of the members will be able to be fluent in all the official languages. All those things can happen. So I'm giving my support to this friendship establishment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Sarah Kunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The objective is to pursue a relationship that would not derogate from our sovereignty, and that we establish a relationship based on solidarity. Solidarity that will enable us to mutually benefit each other and therefore collectively build the architecture of a new international order of justice and mutual benefit. Honorable Speaker, the Republic, Bolivian Republic of Venezuela has built up a relationship with the Gambia on a foundation that had actually benefited the country. I'm sure if you look at our appropriation this year, you will see in some instances repayment that is necessary for loans taken from Venezuela, as well as grants that have been given by the state. So the relationship has benefited Gambia, but that's not the objective. The objective is really to build Gambia in such a way that we can mutually benefit each other. The country has taken the track of democratic dispensation in terms of elections, and we can see the crisis that had engulfed the nation as it attempts to build up a democratic foundation. These are all lessons that we can teach each other to know how we build countries to be stable, countries that are people-centered, countries that serve their people, empower their people so that they can be sovereign, so that they can take charge. There is a lot that we can share in helping them and helping ourselves so that ultimately we build countries that can continue to serve the interests of their peoples. There is absolutely no doubt that building a parliamentary network would serve that end. Democracy calls for governments to come and to go and also to improve themselves. And we believe that as such countries develop relationships with colleagues that can enhance their development in terms of perception, development in terms of planning, development in terms of conception of a new world order of the people, I'm sure that the relationship will endure. So in that respect, I do support that we build this parliamentary friendship so that we serve each other and serve all our peoples collectively. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support the motion that is establishment of Gambia-based parliamentary friendship groups between the Republic of National Assemblies of the Republic of the Gambia and Bolivian Republic of Venezuela. Madam Speaker, as it's not bad to make friendships, but we make friendship where we will have the interest that will interest the country most. And when we look at this, we can easily identify what is going to benefit the Gambia, because the areas that they have touched, agriculture, education, health, tourism, and culture, these are very important things. If you want to develop any country, if you have these things, your country must develop. Because education is the key for success in anything. And the only thing that I like this agreement most is that they went further to say they're going to provide scholarship for needy students.
And we all know there are students who definitely want to go further. They cannot go simply because of finance. But if this agreement is in place, it is also going to help those people. This is why I definitely support this agreement, Madam Speaker. So on that note, I thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable. Any more interventions from honorable members? No? Okay then. Thank you very much. May I now call upon the mover, that's the Honorable Majority Leader, to respond and wind up the debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think the motions they came in the right time, and then the contribution of the members of the National Assembly is a clear indication that these are timely, and it's going to help us strengthen our diplomacy and also our one-to-one relationship with other countries and parliaments in the world. So this bill was also seconded by the Honorable Member for Bintang, who also went on to stress the importance of this relationship. And one key area that he is very much appreciative of is the scholarship that is provided to the needy students of this country, which helps goes a long way in helping and building the capacity and building a strong foundation for this country. To end his contribution, he really tasked the selection committee to really adhere to the language of the Constitution, and especially our standing committee in doing the selection, where we need to look at the various political parties and also the gender aspect of selecting the members. So which is very key, so that we don't go against the words of our own standing order. The Honorable Member for Woodley West, also went further to say that this friendship can go a long way to building the capacities of the various people in the respective countries, and which is very much important, because this relationship with Venezuela will help us to learn about how best can we be resilient, because they have been a very resilient country for 200 years of their independence, and there are a lot that we can learn from them. And then this will also improve the relationship between South-South dialogue or South-South friendship, which will also build our friendship, and also it will go a long way in helping us to already consolidate the existing relationship with the Venezuelan people and the government. So this will also help us to nurture again the people-to-people relationship, and which will help both communities, because we are the direct representatives of our various representatives in our communities. And then it is also going to further peace within the globe. The Honorable Member for Banjul Central also talked a lot about education, that the Venezuelan government, the relationship with the Gambia, had gone a long way in ensuring that they boost the image and the morale of the University of the Gambia, where they have given a lot of grant that helps in furthering the construction work and also some other aspects that are done. And also they went further to provide tractors for the development of agriculture in this country. And these scholarships that are going to be awarded to students will go a long way in helping the young people of this country. And he's happy to say that most of the graduates from that scholarship are now doctors that are serving this country. And then so there are children who have also been supported in heart surgery, which has been a problem in this country, and that relationship is also good. And one key important thing that he is so passionate about is the electrification, expansion of the electricity in Banjul. So these are things that are going to do, and then he's also looking forward for this relationship to take the members of the National Assembly to learn about other languages, especially. He's more specific with Spanish language, so maybe he wants to go and live in that part of the world. Honorable Member also went to look at the Honorable Member for Serekunda, has also again stressed the importance of this friendship, and it is going to be the new international order and then justice, ensuring that justice prevails in this country, and that will help to build a foundation that had actually will benefit this country, and it will go a long way to meeting the objectives of a mutual beneficial to all of us. So it will also help in democratizing the foundations and making countries to be stable and ensuring that their sovereignty is ensured at all times. So this relationship will also go a long way to harness the cordial relationship with some of the other countries, and also it will help the people collectively. The Honorable Member for Same also said this partnership is very key, and it is helping in the key social sectors of the country, that is education, health, and agriculture, which are very key, and he is really impressed and also in support of the scholarship for needy students that will help other vulnerable members of our society to be more effective in their undertakings and their education. So, Honorable Speaker, again, I want to thank the members for their contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable, and thank you very much, Honorable members as well. And I now put the question, be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the establishment of the Gambia Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela Parliamentary Friendship Group with amendments, that is for it to comply with the standing orders and the constitutional provisions. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Clerk, can we proceed? Try to finish the
motion. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the establishment of the Gambia-Senegal Parliamentary Friendship Group by the Honorable Majority Leader and Member for Combo South.
Honorable Majority Leader, move your motion, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move that this August Assembly do consider and adopt this motion for the establishment of a parliamentary friendship group between the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia and Senegal. Honorable Speaker, the two countries share a common heritage, geography, and people. Senegal and the Gambia are one people sharing same language, religion, ethnic background. The people of both countries intermarry and trade among themselves. This motion seeks to establish and strengthen the already existing cordial ties between the two countries. Honorable Speaker, recognizing that forming a friendship group between the two countries will further strengthen the already existing bilateral relations and enhance the people-to-people contacts and relations at sectoral level. Appreciating that this shared heritage and history will further cement relationships between the two countries. Acknowledging that forming a relation between the two parliaments will be an important part of the bilateral relations. Recognizing the National Assembly of the Republic of Senegal is willing to work with the National Assembly of the Gambia to further cement the existing cordial ties. Realizing the consolidation of ties between the two countries, thereby easing free movement of persons and goods in a step towards ECOWAS integration as enshrined in the ECOWAS article. Honorable Speaker, the mandate of the Friendship Group will be, one, to foster interparliamentary diplomacy and to further contribute to the development of the bilateral and cooperative relations, to foster relations that promote mutual exchange in the areas of development of the two legislatures, to serve as the linkage between the two legislatures on all matters of cooperation and support. Membership, the Gambia-Senegal Friendship Group shall consist of a chairperson and 8 other members. Membership to the group shall be nominated by the Committee of Selection in accordance with the standing orders. Membership shall reflect the different political opinion as well as gender. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I move that the August Assembly do consider and adopt this motion for the establishment of Gambia-Senegal Parliamentary Friendship Group between the National Assemblies of the Republic of the Gambia and Senegal. I beg to move. Thank you.
Member, any seconder? Yes, Nyanija, Honorable Member for Nyanija.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion. Just wish to talk a little about this. Thank you very much, Honorable Majority, for the motion, and thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I think this would have been the starting point because Senegal, as we know, all know, Senegal and Gambia, it's just because of colonialism. That's why we are two different countries, but we all say are the same. It's only in the Gambia that you will walk through Senegal and you will realize you've entered into another country. So definitely establishing this is very, very important. Honorable Speaker, I just wish to report that sometimes in 2020, early 2020, the Joint Committee on Monitoring and Trade, we went on a study tour to Senegal, and we were fortunate to have a meeting with our counterparts in their parliament, and what they told us is that we were the first Gambian parliamentarians to go to the Parliament of Senegal, and I think that was a good starting, and then from there, hence we started the negotiation with them. We told them I think it is important that we relay this message to the office of the Speaker for us to establish such a parliamentary friendship group, because we had it with other countries, why not our immediate brothers here? So definitely, and then just to inform the August Assembly, they have a parliamentarian diaspora representing them who is based in the Gambia here. I think he even visited the parliament here with some few members whom he have contacts with. So this is very, very important that we start from here and we strengthen the already existing relationship between these two countries, especially with regards to parliaments, because we represent the people, them too, they represent their people, and these two people, Gambia and Senegal, we can separate. I have families in Senegal, they have families in the Gambia here. So I think it's very, very important. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, I will now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the establishment of the Gambia-Senegal Parliamentary Friendship Group. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Now, I'm sure honorable members, please, can you just raise your tags? I need help from table office. Please, can you take that down so that... Thank you very much. Yes, Woolly East, but please retain your tag so that we'll not miss anybody out. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. You say Woolly East, now you say Woolly West.
Thank you. And then we'll go around. No, Woolly West, go ahead. Don't worry.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, you are not making a mistake. I'm the uncle, he is a nephew, so I should come before him. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I've decided to speak particularly on this one for very important reasons. Parliamentary friendship groups are not just for fanfare or for tourism. They mean for something more serious, particularly in the case of Gambia and Senegal. The objective fundamentally is to share experience, expertise, to learn from each other. Because these parliaments have different institutions, they belong to different jurisdictions. They have different parliamentary experiences. So it is an occasion to learn from each other. Since we are vying towards integration, towards unity, and eventually harmonizing our institutions, culminating into a continental parliament. In the case of Senegal, we have a lot to learn from them. I've always been speaking about the need to use our languages in this institution. Senegal is already doing that. So we have a lot to learn from them in that regard. So creating this friendship group with Senegal will facilitate our learning from the experiences they are already making in the use of their languages in the National Assembly and in the Senate, because there are two chambers. So, Madam Speaker, I am fully in support of this because I know we can make good use of it to help take off in the use of our languages here to better represent our people. And I always say it, I always emphasize, to better represent our people, we must speak the language they speak, otherwise we are not representing them. And Senegal is ahead of them in that regard. So, Madam Speaker, I support the motion and I thank the mover for having come up with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Birkama South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to give my real blessing to this particular agreement that is before us. And again, I want to at least encourage the members of this particular committee. And I also want to urge members here, this committee should be completely proactive. It should not be a dormant committee. Because if you look at the report, it is talking about very sensitive areas that Senegal is almost our next country. That if you look at it, if I may read, the two countries share a common heritage, geography, and people. Senegal and Gambia are one people sharing the same language, religion, and ethnic background. The people of both countries intermarried and trade among themselves. So this friendship is here to strengthen the already bilateral that is existing. But I think the committee should have further work to do, because if you look at it right now, there are a lot of issues surrounding Gambia and Senegal, especially in our border areas. We have a lot of issues there that need to be corrected. So this bilateral can go further to make sure that we once and for all even demarcate our borders. But you have a lot of outcry in those areas. Especially you mentioned the area of trade, which is very, very key in these border areas. You have a lot of issues that need to be addressed. So I want to appeal to the members of this particular committee to be more proactive than any other committee here. So because you have a lot of things in common. And that coexistence must prevail if we want to live as a sovereign country of our own. So therefore, I am giving my blessing. I think this is, it is the right time for this to come on board. But we have a lot of numerous challenges. Since parliament to parliament, these are the legislative arms of every country, already identifying issues that are affecting our countries in the area of demarcations and even in the area of trade. So these parliaments can even facilitate, the friendship can facilitate. And on that note, I want to thank and give my blessing to this agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Banjul South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker. After hearing from my honorable colleague from Woolly West, I thought I would not even say anything because he said exactly what I was going to say. We are here to develop the nation. And from Senegal, we have a lot to learn. First, he mentioned about the local language that they speak in their parliament, which I think we can learn a lot from. Secondly, as one of few elected female MPs, there is a lot we can also learn from Senegal. Presently, they have 44% of female representation. We need to learn and know the reasons why they have such high numbers. And I think Parliament is the best to do so, especially when we are in a friendship group. also as a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, knowing the trouble that Gambians faced crossing the Senegalese borders, I would applaud one of the reasons why we are also looking into this friendship, which says that realizing that the consolidation of ties between the two countries, thereby easing the free movement of persons and goods in a step towards ECOWAS integration as enshrined in ECOWAS articles. I think, Madam Speaker, if we embark on this friendship group, it will greatly benefit us and we can also learn a lot. And for that reason, I will give it my full blessing. And if need be, even if 8 is not enough, because we are very close to Senegal, Madam Speaker, we need to make sure that this friendship is not only established, but fully implemented and strengthened to the best interest of both countries. And I think for us, Gambia, we have a lot to learn from and a lot to gain to ease the burden of our citizens, especially traders and petty traders. Women suffer a lot. Every week, there's a woman that would call me and tell me the hassle that they are going through crossing the borders of Senegal. Sometimes they lose their goods along the way for not knowing of their rights. Madam Speaker, I think if we are closer to Senegal, through this parliament, we can ease all these burdens. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity once again. I also want to thank the mover for bringing up with this motion. But I just want to refer him to his second paragraph, which starts says, Honorable Speaker, with the permission if I can read. The two countries share a common heritage, geography, and people. Senegal and the Gambia are one people sharing the same language, religion, and ethnic background. The people of the both countries intermarry and trade among themselves. Madam Speaker, this point, I think it is only Gambia and Senegal in the world that will have these commodalities. Then it's obvious that Gambia and Senegal have a natural bonding and a natural relationship. But by going through the history, it has been put into practice in 1981 when the Senegambia Confederation came into effect, but later break out, and then process going on. Today, the closest friend or the closest neighbor to the Gambia is Senegal. So for that being the case, this motion is long overdue. Should have been in existence, because I'm seeing parliamentary friendship has been alluded by Honorable Member for Woolley, that it's not a fanfare. So if it is not going to be a fanfare, then this committee should be the most important committee in relation to Gambia, the people of Senegal's relationship to the people of Gambia's relationship. We all agree Gambia have a natural relationship with Senegal, but there are so many constraints when you come to people movement and movement of goods. So on that note, this motion to establish this friendship is in the right direction. I could remember I traveled with my committee members to Djibouti on African Parliamentary Union. We had a group walk where we discussed about the role of Parliament in mitigating cross-border crimes. And so fortunately, the group where we are, Senegal was also part of the group. So we all have to raise our issues cross-border. And the only issues that we are going to discuss as Gambia is to Senegal. But at that far in East Africa, we cannot sit there to discuss. When we are so close here, we didn't have any table to discuss our issues. So that's why I'm saying this one is long overdue. We should have these issues, we should have this committee so that we can collaborate with our partners in Senegal to discuss anything that will affect. Because look at this now. Any law that we bring into effect in the country affects Senegal. Any law that Senegal promulgates in Senegal affects the Gambia. So the body that are responsible for that, if they don't have this close relationship to consider, do a holistic study, how will it affect us and our neighbors? That's why sometimes when laws are promulgated in Senegal, it affects Gambia, Gambia, it affects Senegal. That's why our people are having problems. Today, Gambians, when you ask them, where are you going to, they say, we are traveling. Where are they traveling? The quickest and the closest place to travel is Senegal. And then when you go to Senegal, there are so many procedures and processes Gambians go through. If at all this natural relationship that we have Senegal is real, we all have it there. Yes, it's real, but there is no cordial or a better understanding within these two institutions to be able to give recognitions. It's just so coincidence. Yesterday, I came from Senegal yesterday. Yesterday in the evening. It is sometimes pathetic if an MP is traveling, you know, it's obviously. But I know if this thing comes in, such things should be discussed. There are some processes that an MP go through when you want to go to Senegal, or some processes that MPs from Senegal come to go through in Gambia will be discussed. Then there could be this mutual free movement of people. And again, when you come to ECOWAS protocols, there are so many protocols that ECOWAS talked about free movement of people and goods and services. As I said, our only border or neighbors is Senegal. If we are going to move as people, it's across Senegal. If we are going to move our goods and services, it's across Senegal. So Senegal is so important that we need to have this relationship with them. But again, as been alluded by a member for Brikama South, if other committees have work to do, I believe any member opportune to be part of this committee, obviously your membership in that committee will not be a fanfare just as a visit to Senegal or a Senegalese visit to Gambia. We want to see proactive engagement so that there could be a very perfect mutual relationship. I was going through some research. They say for world to have peace, for the whole world to have absolute peace, we have to use Gambia and Senegal as an example. Because they have everything common. If there could be 100% peace between these countries, that's obvious. There is no armed war between Gambia and Senegal, but we are all seeing that the troubles that we are going through with Senegal. If at all this thing can be tabled out and then no issues with Gambia and Senegal, that research is saying that there could be a possibility that there will be perfect peace in the world. So that means the ball is in our court now, and we are opportune to be the member of parliament that is going up into this relationship. Let it be a relationship that is going to be long-standing. Let it be a relationship that is going to be fruitful. Let it be a relationship that is going to pay a positive dividend on the life of the people of the Gambia and Senegal. So on that note, Madam Speaker, I give my support, but also this will be my last to talk on this parliamentary groups. I want to put a signal to the selection committee. As they said, criteria, political dimensions, gender, but let it be fair. And let me also remind them, there are some members in so many committees that even render those committees to be unproductive because the members are busy in different committees. Let them also consider that. Let us not look at individuals, but let us see the capability that the individual can do. So not only one person in this committee can be an all-rounder. Let there be fair play. So in their selection, let them also consider the number of committees one is in, especially in international committees. On that note, Madam Speaker, I beg to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Ilyasa.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I'll be people who will champion this better relationship. Based on members as already alluded, the Senegal-Gambia Confederation was signed in Kaur. It was 1981. That was the first establishment of the Senegal-Gambia Federation. So, which was signed by Abdou Diouf and my grandpa, Sadauda Kairaba Jawara. So the language that they were saying, Senegal, Gambia, Benabapula, it was meant for Kaur chapter. And basically, I will be the first people who will champion this Senegal and Gambia relationship, which indicate most effective confederations, and it was ended peaceful. The entire confederation was meant for peace building and good governance. Honorable Speaker, basically, when I am among those people today sat down here, approve this relationship, then I'll be glad as far as it was a body meant to Kaur N, which was Abdul Juf and Sarada came through, and River Abdul Juf came through aircraft, which was established in Kaur, these confederations, and I'm glad today to say I am full support of this. And again, and I have also a project which is already connected to this, which is Senegalo-Gambia Confederations, Dikal Chosan. So today I'm happy also to be in support of this, which was meant to to support the ECOWAS Protocol 2. So, Honorable Speaker, I also ask all members to support this. This is long overdue, which we also need between Senegal and Gambia, because we are intermarried, religions, everything. So I know members will support it. Then I'll be the person to champion this relationship between Senegal and Gambia. And on that note, Honorable Speaker, my support is there 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. Jara East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I also rise to support this important motion. Honorable Speaker, many speakers made mention of the move being long overdue. However, I will say the better late than never. Honorable Speaker, it goes without saying that when Gambia sneezes, Senegal catches the cold. This is largely due to our proximity with Senegal. Honorable Speaker, if you look at our landscape, the landscape of these two countries, they are all the same. If you look at our cultural heritage, they are the same, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you have Gambians that are deeply rooted in Senegal, and you have Senegalese who are deeply rooted in the Gambia. So that goes to speak volumes of our oneness, that Gambia and Senegal, we are much of a muchness. That is, we are all the same. I don't think there exists a distinction between Gambia and Senegal, quite apart from our nationalities. We share a lot in common, and as a result, what brings us together is more than what divides us as a nation. Honorable Speaker, what we have to do now is how to cement this cordial relationship that so happily exists between the Gambia and Senegal. Honorable Speaker, we are all one, but when it comes to movement of goods, people, and services, we have impediments, and that will go on to defeat this motion if those roadblocks or impediments are not removed. This motion will not be fit for purpose. Honorable Speaker, at times we are in contravention of the ECOWAS protocol. We are in stark violation of the ECOWAS protocol. It does not require much intelligence to see the way and manners Senegalese are treated and the way and manner Gambians are treated in Senegal. You will see Senegalese being, chased, whisked in the vehicle, driven to the police station for want of an alien's card, for lack of alien's card. Honorable Speaker, if you look at these things and you look at all the beautiful things that are in this document, it is quite counterintuitive. So we have a great work to do. If we don't put a stop to the way and manner we treat Senegalese citizens in this country, and the way and manner Senegalese government also treats Gambian citizens in Senegal, this will result to a futile chase. Unless and until we change our attitude. Because when you have these beautiful things embedded in this document, and our actions are not corresponding to that which is contained in the document, that is counterintuitive. Whatever you may have here is going to be at cross purposes with whatever beautiful idea you might have here. So unless and until our ideas are aligned with the aims and objectives that are embedded in this document, it is only going to be a futile, chase. Yes, we need immigration. We need to police our borders. Senegal need to police their borders. But the extent to which we police our borders should have a human rights face. It should have a human rights face and a human rights dimension. If you consider our proximity and also consider the way and manner we treat each other, Honorable Speaker, is at variance with what is contained here. Unless we change our attitudes. It's a long overdue, but better late than never. And it is never late for a reason to prevail. So when we have this today, it's a move in the right direction. But having it today ratified or endorsed in these chambers is one thing. But living up to its aims and objectives is another thing. And that's what becomes a different ball game. The wordings are beautiful, the ideas are quite noble, but when it comes to enforcement, that's where we have the bottlenecks. Now the work is how to remove those bottlenecks. After having endorsed this, what next? Is it going to be old wines in new bottles or new wines in old bottles? If you like it. When that happens, it means we can't make a headway. It is disheartening to see Gambia and Senegal the way we treat each other when it comes to our immigration. Issues bordering on immigration. When the ECOWAS protocol is very clear that it's no longer an ECOWAS of nations, it's an ECOWAS of people to people. That I can go to Senegal, establish there, raise a family there, do my work there, without any let or hindrance. Vice versa. But that is not obtainable. That is not obtainable. If you go to Senegal, you'll be seen as an alien, you'll be pursued, you'll be hassled, you'll be mistreated, you'll be manhandled in a very bad manner. The same thing applies to Gambia here. What I'm saying, Madam Speaker, is an open secret. The way and manner we treat Senegalese nationals and the way and manner Senegalese treat Gambian nationals leave much to be desired. And I think we must change that trajectory. That's the alpha and omega of this motion. It is calling for attitudinal change. And I believe fervently When attitudes are transformed into altitudes, the sky will be the limit. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Sandu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, much has been said, but I just want to highlight only two things in the motion. That is the trade among ourselves or between Gambia and Senegal, and also the ECOWAS protocols on integration. Honorable Speaker, Gambia is well known for trade, that is exports, re-exports, and also the Aisha trade. As a country, we have sparse natural resources deposited, but what we are depending more to boost our economy is these two aspects. And as we all know, statistics have shown 2005 to 2010, the re-export volume is around 80% of the trade. And the re-export trade, Gambia cannot achieve this objective without having that cordial relationship with Senegal. And also our transit trade, goods leaving the Gambia cannot reach their destination without passing through Senegal. So as a result, this friendship group think it can turn or convert the nightmare to a blessed dream. Honorable Speaker, the Trade Committee just concluded 6 days tour to the borders, but I don't want to preempt the finding on the implementation of ISA trade and also the commitment to ECOWAS protocol on our borders, because the reports will come back to the plenary to decide. Honorable Speaker, this friendship group, to me, can be used effectively to make sure that all these obstacles that we are facing on these areas, it will also boost the political commitments. Because when we rectify or when we endorse this friendship group, then after the endorsement, Honorable Speaker, the follow-up process also is another thing. There are lots that the political, the political will is not there. That is why most of these protocols, Gambians are observing it. But if you go to other country, I can say our neighbors, what we find there is a nightmare. So, Honorable Speaker, what I will urge the Parliament is not only Senegal. We have other nations that Gambia should have friendship group with if it doesn't exist. Because when we look at our economy, we largely depend on trade. And this trade, we have countries that Gambia is trading with. And we have those countries on the list, like one of them is Mauritania. I'm happy to see that Mauritania, we are establishing a parliamentary friendship group with Mauritania. Honorable Speaker, Mali is no exception, Guinea-Conakry and Guinea-Bissau. If you look at it now, most of our transit goods are destined to these three countries. And most of our re-export trade is coming from these countries. That is Mali, Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau, and sometimes Mauritania. Honorable Speaker, this will even prompt that when the committee went on tour, what we have observed there, definitely this assembly, I don't think even we can wait for this group to be in effect so that they be able to address some of these things. So I have to beg your indulgence with the office of the clerk to make sure that help this committee, trade committee, to make follow-up on this before the establishment of the group or before their operation. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. I also want to add my voice to the mover for the establishment of the Parliamentary Friendship Group between the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia and Senegal. Madam Speaker, I also still, with your permission, to read the mover's statement on the two countries share a common heritage geographically, and people in Senegal and the Gambia are one people, sharing the same language, religion, and ethnic background. The people of both countries intermarried and trade among themselves. Madam Speaker, I think this relationship or this friendship is just to formalize it or to officialize it, because Senegal and Gambia, they do everything in common. I think the only thing which they don't share is the official language, which we normally speak English and they speak French. But other than that, all the things they do, we also do it. And we have said, where there is the same surname, almost they are the same family. And I think all these surnames we have in the Gambia, most of them are in Senegal. Here, as far as intermarriage is concerned, a typical example is myself. My biological sister, who is married in Senegal, and she has families there now, then I think whatever is happening in Senegal is a concern to me. Even this past demonstration, so I even intend to go and see whether my niece or my cousins are not affected. So I think this thing is very important, at least to build friendship. Friendship is just about, the most important thing is communication also is part of it. If two people are living in the same country and they meet somewhere and they happen to speak the same language, they even start to build a relationship and a friendship. A typical example, I went to Egypt. I met with a Burkinabe lady who is also a Mandinga. But all along they spoke French, I speak English, we are all the time speaking. The communication was always difficult among us. But we once visited one of the African universities, which they had to call the students to come and visit us. A Gambian student came, he started speaking to me in English, in Mandinka. Then the lady from Burkinabe said, "Ah, you are a Mandinka?" I said, "Yes, I'm a Mandinka." That's where we have even started building friendship. He was all the time going with one of the French-speaking guy who came from Yemen. But at the end of the day, we started building friendship among us. And in any forum where we meet, in any other part of the country as Senegalese parliamentary, we always make friends. So I think this thing is very important and it's very timely. So most of my villages along the borders, they share with the Senegalese people. I have a village which you cannot even identify, whether it is in Gambia or in Senegal, whether those people also are Senegalese or Gambians. Even the foreign money, they share everything. The Gambian will use the CFA, the Senegalese will even use the Darasi. So it is so important that this thing has to come as soon as possible for us to adopt this motion, because basically Senegal and Gambia, we cannot separate each other. We do everything in common. We have to go to each other. Even if you want to travel, if by air, by land, you have to pass through. If they had to prevent you not to use their airspace, you are in a trouble, much more on land. So I also wanted to add my voice on this motion so that it can be adopted. So on that note, Madam Speaker, it was a concern to me when I see Senegal, this friendship to be built among the parliamentarians. I started to think that, oh, it's just timely. So basically, Madam Speaker, I took my seat.
I think we can just take Sami, Honorable Member for Sami, before we move to the other side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. Madam Speaker, I don't even want to speak, but when I saw this motion, it reminded me of our trip in Dakar when we went there. So it is something this should have been done before. This agreement, this friendship between Gambia and Senegal, it should have been established since. But it is not late. I think we can make the best use of it now. Hence, we want to establish it. As it is stated in the motion, it is one people. We share the same thing. But, Madam Speaker, this committee, who are supposed to be in this committee, it should not be a dormant committee. It should not be dormant. Simply because there are issues at our borders. We thought with the establishment of this committee, they should be able to resolve those issues. This is why I said it should not be a dormant committee. It should be functional at all times. Madam Speaker, as others have stated, the reason why people make friendship is to learn best practices from each other. We thought that somebody who cannot express himself or herself in English, we thought that that person cannot do anything. No. It's two different things. When we went to Dakar, my colleagues are here. When we visited the parliamentarian, we were not speaking English. We were not speaking French. We were speaking local languages. Some of my colleagues who cannot speak Wolof, they have to, do interpretation to them. Although I was able to speak Wolof, but there were among us who cannot speak Wolof. So, Madam Speaker, I think when we make friendship with them, it is going to help us a lot. So I definitely support this motion. So on that note, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Kunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The Parliamentary Friendship Group is an advocacy tool. We do have our technical committees charged with the responsibility of scrutinizing agreements and other instruments. But a parliamentary group goes beyond that. It goes into looking at all the details that exist and that could have positive, negative effects on peoples sharing different borders. And that is why this is so significant, because of the reality that confronts us when we look at our neighbor Senegal. From 10 August 1889, they carved the Gambia and said, this is our country. But until this day, Honorable Speaker, the borders are ill-defined. And governments have been meeting. They've created institutions, yet we're yet to have any conclusion to what constitutes the Gambia, what constitutes Senegal. Such associations can help to engage the Senegalese parliamentarians to discuss such matters, to look at the effect it is having in terms of relation between our two peoples. Honorable Speaker, because of the border, it has already been clearly indicated
that the export trade is dwindling because of border restrictions. It is important to look at interests objectively to see why that is the case. And you can involve population, you can involve the parliamentarians, you can involve traders in a more informal discussion than when you deal with state to state, which must be done within the confines of certain rules and regulations. That relationship becomes more informal, and therefore you can engage whole populations and get certain facts that may inform policy, inform legislation, inform also relationship, institution building. Honorable Speaker, as has been clearly indicated, you go near our borders, you discover that many relationships are built between the two peoples. They trade, even barter, in the borders, where currencies are exchanged in the borders without any formal structure. Some Gambians even get more from Senegal, some Senegalese more from Gambia, without state intervention. So it is therefore important that we have such committees that will be able to move into those areas, gather more information about the lives of our people, what is affecting them, and what we can do. Some will talk about crime in the borders, where cattle rustlers will move from the border and come in without any police presence, security presence, sometimes conflict with the security of the other country. So it is important that we tease out all these problems, general problems, and we should not have any expectation that they will be easily solved. But at least we have the capacity to be able to tease them out, and also the basis to be able to have a discussion between parliamentarians on those fundamental issues. Honorable Speaker, I'll come to a conclusion by throwing some clarification. I've heard about the Senegambia Confederation romanticized. And clearly, I cannot sit down without making clarification that that was not the type of relationship that Gambia should have with Senegal. It was a relationship that emerged from a crisis, an intervention, a lot of bloodshed. The documentation is ignored, but many people died during the 1981 conflict. But out of it emerged a confederation that was not mutual in any way. And that's why it collapsed in 1989, because it has no foundation on a state-to-state relationship that was equal. It was a foundation imposed by virtue of the conflict itself. And out of the 72 million, Gambia contributing 26 million and Senegal 52, combined together 72. Most of it was spent on confederal forces, the armed security forces, intelligence, essentially and duplication of responsibilities of parliamentarians, but nothing was really done to build a Senegambia corridor of roads and development for the Senegalese people and the Gambian people. So in that regard, the Confederation did not serve the purpose of development for the people, and it was just a political machinery. And when the president of Senegal saw that there was no benefit for him in the existence of that confederation, he just walked out overnight, and the confederation collapsed. So that should not really be quoted as an example. We would want a relationship where parliaments will be able to meet and harmonize legislation, oversight methodologies, so many activities that are taking place, so that we mutually learn from each other. This parliament is developing a lot of capacity, and I'm sure other parliaments will be able to also learn from exactly what we are doing, because I've heard the minister say the way we scrutinize bills is very unique in terms of legislative building. So in essence, we are building up competencies, and I'm sure through relationship, the way we scrutinize policies, the way we scrutinize, serve as oversight on our governments, all this could be mutually shared. So there is a lot of benefit to be derived from building up a relationship between the two parliaments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I believe that this is one of the most important motions that we are dealing with today. And I believe that all those who have constituencies close to the border should get up to speak and support this motion. Because, Honorable Speaker, I raised a question to the Interior Minister in 2017 on what efforts the government is making to dialogue with Senegal in relation to cross-border crimes, citing the attack in Makamasri and the killing of a Gambian citizen there, which was a gun battle. And he told me that, next week I'm going to Dhaka to discuss with the government precisely on that matter, how we can build peace and security within our borders. But, Honorable Speaker, I see that the executive is not sufficient. I think they have a challenge to deal with all the issues that we have with Senegal across our borders, etc., given the fact that they are so compounded that maybe they lose sight of the importance of that dialogue. Honorable Speaker, among the reasons for this motion, one is people-to-people relationship to be enhanced. I believe that people-to-people relations is the most crucial part of this friendship. This friendship should be able to initiate programs that will help to foster and consolidate this people-to-people relationship. Honorable Speaker, the initiative will certainly be the catalyst to build and sustain the people-to-people contacts, which will definitely go a long way to building cooperation and understanding among our people. Let me inform you that the Woodley East has already initiated this unofficial contact between the people of Senegal and the Gambia to ensure that they help each other in securing their properties and themselves and ensuring this easy access of goods and services across the border. They've taken the bull by the horn because the state has not done much in that area. So they even went to the extent of creating a single forum, WhatsApp forum, where they all share information and experiences and also help each other in apprehending people who are said to have been engaged in stealing their property, etc., etc. So a lot of conversation is going within these people. So that culture is being built up. And I believe the friendship group should be able to study those initiatives and build on them, work with the Senegalese parliament to ensure that both states work together to be able to foster these relationships. Honorable Speaker, a lot of things are happening between Gambia and Senegal. These are mutually reinforcing. If you come to agriculture, Gambian farmers are going to Senegal to do farming because of the lack of farmland in their area. And Senegalese farmers are also coming to the Gambia to do farming, all looking for land to do work. If you go to health, how many Gambians are going to Senegal to seek for medical help? Right now, the MRI lab test is not available here. Many Gambians are going and paying a lot of money in Dakar, up to $15,000 just to have a lab test. So even health-wise, how many Gambians are going to Tambacounda? How many Gambians from Tambacounda are coming to the Gambia to seek for medical help? So there are so many issues that need to be looked at so that we make it easy for each other. If you look at the trade, Honorable Sandu, member for Sandu is talking about, a large chunk of our granite that we produce here goes to Senegal. You know, Senegalese come and buy all the granite and take it. So, you know, there is a lot of convergence between us, which needs to be furnished better. I think, apart from that, we have, this relationship should have come earlier. Like you said, better late than never. And I think from now on, this friendship group will take up issues and ensure that both national assemblies and both states work together to ensure that we work, you know, fervently to ensure that all these problems can easily be addressed. At least, on that note, Honorable Speaker, I think I just give my support to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also add my voice to my colleague to thank the mover of the motion. And immediately I supported the motion. Like so many facts and ideas have been mentioned between the Gambia and Senegal, I think that is home to every citizen of both countries. As a Gambian, you feel at home in Senegal, and as a Senegalese, it's the same thing in the Gambia. These are two countries, at the time of acquiring our independence, there are some thinkers who believe that they can jointly get an independent, something like that, if I am correct. But before we come to the actual relationship that are between Senegal and Gambia, that has to give us the visa to establish this friendship between our legislative and that of Senegal, we look at it in a broader way. Even the realist in actual knows that now the world is going towards globalization. Things are coming together. All the nations are now coming together in one way or another. There are few thinkers, in fact, who think that nation state in the future may be affected by the trend of globalization as we are now. Like the first speaker has mentioned, no country can stand alone. Not even by border. But economically, you cannot stand alone. Politically, you cannot stand alone. You must have to do things in close relationship to other countries, especially when it comes to international affairs. The size and the distance of the country is not important here anymore. What is important is the relationship that you are going to have with that very country or that sister parliament. Whether the country is closer to you, is your next neighbor, or is living far away from you. The purpose, the reason. I think every agreement or establishment of any agreement should be based on objectives and also on scopes, because probably our relationship with the parliament might have a limit. You look at foreign policies. The executive has the primary role. But as legislative also, we have a role in shaping the foreign policies. So our friendship with other countries, including Senegal, with other parliaments in other countries, including Senegal, is very important. It's really important. When you, not to take too much of your time, because already so many things has been coming up, but looking specifically Senegal and Gambia, there are certain things. It's very important to have this type of committee between these two nations or between these two legislators. Citizenship, for example, you go to certain communities, you find the same village divided into two by these two countries. Like I have one in my area. It's just a stone throw. You can stand in the other country and call somebody in the other country. See? Citizenship there normally becomes a problem because you can acquire both citizenship because you are living in the same community. In fact, at certain stage, you share the same village alcalo, whilst you are living in different country. So, and in another time, crimes are committed from one side, and those who committed that crime will run to the other side. Like it has happened in one of the villages in Jara Central not so long ago, where the timber dealers will bring their timbers from Senegal, just a stone throw from the border and park it there, because the Senegalese authority will not dare to come there and seize their timbers. Stealing from the other country and hiding in the other country. I know, like I said before, we are not a primary duty player in foreign policy, but probably we can play a secondary role in dealing with some of those policies. So that's another reason why it is very important to establish this friendship between our parliament and that of Senegal. I could remember there was a time a committee was formed, including the members of these three countries, Senegal, Gambia, and Guinea-Conakry. Those of us that are directly affected by the official borders of these three countries. And these were the reasons. There is a reason, there is a problem of citizenship, one. There is a problem of cross-border crimes, and the likes. So that also make it very important for us to go in this kind of relationship with our colleagues in Senegal. Madam Speaker, I think we share everything with Senegal in general, socially, politically, even politically, because we're living in these different countries. But like I say, a single community divided into two by the colonial masters, you cannot distinguish them in any way. Socially, physically, we share everything in common. But then, like others has mentioned, there are some problems. Unless we have the political will, some of those problems may be pending. Because we are not a primary duty bearer towards foreign policies. It is the executive. It's the role of the executive. Madam Speaker, the friendship also are described in a scope of diplomacy. The moment we are ready to go into those friendships, we should observe the principles of diplomacy, because the friendships are within that scope. We have to observe that. There is only one suggestion I would love to make to the committee of selection. I know there are criteria that are clearly mentioned in the standing order, but notwithstanding, one of the members mentioned it here. There are individual areas or individual constituencies in the country that have this critical, they are very critical in the relationship between Senegal and the Gambia, where you have these official borders. Always there is a crime. Always there is a problem. And what happens whenever there is a problem, the first person they will contact is their representative, who has nothing, may not have even any knowledge about the matter. So if we have to select a committee, we look at those members, one, so that the communication between them and their colleagues in Senegal could be easy. Decisions can be easily transferred from them to their colleagues in Senegal. They can sometimes sit down and discuss issues relating to those problems within those border areas. That's my suggestion, if the criteria would allow it. So with this remark, thank you, Honorable Member, for this motion, and I'm fully in support of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Jara Central.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also give my support. Honorable Speaker, excuse me, I rise to support the motion for the establishment of a parliamentary friendship group between the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia and that of Senegal. Honorable Speaker, the motion seeks to establish and strengthen the already existing cordial ties between the two countries. Some members have already alluded to this, which is definitely also captured in the mover's speech. Honorable Speaker, in February 2020, a joint committee of trade and monitoring conducted a tour to Senegal to see the Dakar-Abidjan corridor, a corridor of which our motherland, the Gambia, is part of. In this tour, Honorable Speaker, I was opportune to serve this joint committee as the rapporteur. It was a 6-day tour. It was during this tour, Honorable Speaker, that when we met our sister parliament in Senegal, that their majority leader, a humble man, and a humble man for that matter, Honorable Speaker, during our engagement with our sister parliament of Senegal, that the deputy speaker, or majority leader rather, came up with the idea that somebody have mentioned it, the member for Nyanija, that your group is the first parliamentarians of Gambia to visit Senegal and have a dialogue. Because if you can remember, then there was a small misunderstanding in Karang the border between Senegal and Gambia in Amdalai, of vehicles entering Gambia and vehicles leaving Gambia entering Senegal. So this was in fact the main purpose of our trip, was also among the purpose of our trip, to visit the Dakar-Abidjan corridor, and also to see how best these misunderstandings on these conventional borders between Senegal and Gambia, how can we see that those misunderstandings come to a cease. Honorable Speaker, just to go back just one step, the majority leader then decided to us, or suggested to us, that definitely it will be very, very important, I think, if we could have a friendship relationship between your parliament and the Parliament of Senegal, So our two vice chairs, or our two chairs, took it upon them, and it was in fact captured in our report, because the report was placed here in this humble house. It was captured, and then I think it was as a result of this, today we are talking about establishing this parliamentary friendship group, which is definitely a right move in the right direction. So I definitely thank your office and thank the mover of this motion. Honorable Speaker, on the last paragraph of the page of the mover of the motion, if you may allow me, Honorable Speaker, just to quote, he said, the two countries thereby easing the free movement of persons and goods in a step towards ECOWAS integration as enshrined in ECOWAS article, unquote. Honorable Speaker, the free movement of goods and services and people across Gambia and Senegal, or in fact the ECOWAS states, is something which is enshrined in the ECOWAS article. Therefore, it should not be any case for study for goods and services and people not to be able to move freely between these two states, that is Senegal and the Gambia. But however, Honorable Speaker, this is the opposite. When we talk about the free movement of people, possibly it is so between Gambia and Senegal, but when we talk about the free movement of goods and services, Honorable Speaker, it is a nightmare as at now. The chair of the Trade Committee, the member for Sandu, have just mentioned it here. We concluded just a 6-day tour on all the entry points and the conventional borders of Gambia and Senegal, between Gambia and Senegal, of which I am also the rapporteur. I will join him to mention that we are not going to preempt what is going to be our report, but Honorable Speaker, movement of goods and services is a nightmare between these two countries. Honorable Speaker, it was as a result of the partition of Africa by the West. Senegal lost to the French, Senegal was lost to the French, and the Gambia to the British. But, Honorable Speaker, before the colonial days, there were no conventional frontiers that would differentiate between these two countries. I think the mover of the motion have made it very clear to justify this statement I have just mentioned here, that there was no conventional frontiers to differentiate these two countries, the mover have mentioned it in the first or second paragraph of his speech, that Senegal and the Gambia are one people sharing the same language, religion, and ethnic background. This is obvious, Honorable Speaker. So therefore, coming up with a motion like this, as the member for Jara East have mentioned, it is better late than never. Therefore, it is definitely very, very important that your office and the mover of the motion come up with this mind. With these few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to take my seat.
Yes, Kantora, raise your tag.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I want to seize the opportunity as a member of Parliament residing in a region whereby sharing borders with Senegal. I wouldn't be just to my people I represent here without giving the support and blessings, as well as making some few observations to the selection committee, and also try to bring some limelight to this August Assembly, what has been the relationship between Gambia and Senegal, particularly at the grassroots level. If you could recall, I did send a parliamentary question to the Honourable Minister of Water Resources complaining about a particular blockage of water at the Casamance region. The community of, they call it Tekase, that is TK and C, Tumana, Kantora, and Casamance, socially, collectively, creates an initiative to negotiate with a counterpart country to remove a blockage of water which serves as a livelihood, to our people in URR. And I was adequately advised by the minister and this August Assembly to withdraw the parliamentary question. That is more of diplomacy and it's more of interstate issues. They will take it up at the level of executive, which I have humbly declined that particular question, and up till now, nothing has been done. Similarly, there was a shooting at Picadus, some call it Garawal Kuta, and we've seen the intervention whereby Senegalese forces come into Gambia to pursue a particular young man in the country, and then which has led to a sword in his hand and making him a disabled person currently. So, reason why I'm trying to share these issues with you, to tell you that it is very important as two nations to have this friendship group, a sort of parliamentary friendship group. And I'm just going back from a tour under the Select Committee on Trade, Regional Integration, to look at the ISRT agreement, because Senegal and Gambia are signatories to so many protocols and conventions. But then, in our research, I wouldn't want to preempt the report, but chunk of the discussions centered around the nightmare is always felt at the counterpart country, Senegal, for respecting those protocols. So I think as a parliament, it should be very, very important not to leave it at the mercy of the executive, but of course, parliamentary delegations, parliamentary group can also push politically. There is no problem for Gambia and Senegal, in certain areas. When it comes in terms of religion, you are seeing religious heads. Even if someone passed away in Senegal, a huge part of delegation normally goes to Senegal and then pay their visit. Similarly in the Gambia, culturally, when December is approaching, you see so many Senegalese artists coming in and out of the country. We are good in culturally. Socially, of course. But when it comes in terms of economic affairs, politically, that's where the nightmare lies. So therefore, interaction doesn't really end at social, cultural, interaction. There is more to that. more importantly, emphasis has to be made on these two areas. That is, the political interaction is very key, as well as the economic interaction as well. And Gambia, as a country that stands to benefit a lot from the transit business, because of the nature of our ports, Gambia could really gain a lot in terms of re-export trade. And unless there is a serious political will, put in place whereby two countries will observe and abide by, this issue of economic re-export trades will not really benefit our country. So these are things that we can really deliberate on, and made our counterpart country know that as people living together, it is our collective responsibility to make sure that the culture we share peacefully, the regions we share peacefully. We should also behave in that way when it comes in terms of economic benefits, when it comes in terms of political benefits. As I'm telling you, this group was established at the level of grassroots. These are villagers who are finding it difficult at the moment to have water from the stream of Senegal, Casamance area. It's called Nyanduba. From Nyanduba and down to Tumana and Kantura stream currently is dry. And we've seen the loss of animals, trying to get water to drink is a nightmare. Even their fishing activities now is challenged. So this is not a good sign of, two countries to be in a good relationship. So I would love to, whatever member is being selected in the delegation or in the friendship group, I will be the first person to really engage them, to really work for this blockage of water in Nyanduba, as well as the porous border, because as a constituency I have about 2 to 3 entries to Senegal, which are very porous. The Nyamanari border post end, which is unofficial of course, but there are so many transactions, so many, person-to-person relation happening there. And of course, the area of Picadus end is also an entry point. And also at Bolibana end is also an entry point. So these are 3 very weak and porous borders, whereby if this particular committee is established or group is established, I would really invite them to have a tour and see how best they could really engage their counterpart countries, to really address these challenges as well we face. So, however, I wouldn't want to take much of the time of the assembly. I wouldn't do just if I don't really raise the concern of my people that I represent this parliament, to bring it to your attention that they face serious challenges. And as friendship groups, we should really endeavor to make sure that we address those challenges as well. Of course, I'm really aware that we're not the primary implementers of foreign policy. However, we can really use our good offices to cement the ties politically, through this engagement. On that note, thank you so much for indulgence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further interventions by honorable members? Okay. Thank you very much. And now I will call on the mover, as the honorable majority leader, to respond. Have been issues raised, and then wind up the debate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I still want to continue to thank members for their contributions, and then I want to start with the mover, the honorable member for Nyanija, who seconded the motion. In his deliberation, he highlighted the point that the Trade Committee and the project monitoring on their joint visit to Senegal were involved in the preliminary discussion for the setting up of this parliamentary friendship, which was highly welcomed by their partners in Senegal, and set the light and the processes were done to ensure that it's implemented. And now here we are talking of setting up this friendship between the Parliament of Senegal and the Gambia. And one important thing that he also stressed is that the involvement of a diasporan parliamentarian who is already based in Banjul here, working with the government and with the Parliament of Senegal to ensure that these kind of relationships are established. So coming up with such an endeavor to set up this friendship is in the right direction. West also took up the floor and stressed the importance of these things and urged members not to see this as a fanfare or a tourism adventure where people will just go for visits and so on. He stressed the importance of these things and said that there are certain key important areas that we can learn from the Senegalese parliament. He is a supporter of speaking national language in this National Assembly. And Senegal is way ahead of us as a parliament, and then our friendship with them will really give us the technique to know the techniques behind and also use the capacity to be able to go into these things and ensuring that we will go a long way in more integration in the community. And there he also went further to say that there are a lot of other national issues, linkages that we can learn from the Senegalese parliament and using their national languages in parliament, which is very key because that's what we are yearning for and is something that we need to look into. Honorable member for Brikama South talked about the encouragement that they receive from their colleagues and also the participation of the members. But he also stressed the point that it is important that when this committee is instituted and accepted by the preliminary here, the committee should not be dormant. Having dormant committees will not help, and especially the important role that this committee can play in ensuring that the relationship with the Parliament of the Gambia and Senegal goes to a long way in helping us and learn best experiences from them. So he is working the selection committee to look at the selection, how they go with it, and then it should be, they should be instrumental in ensuring that demarcation of borderlands are done in these things because that's causing a lot of problem in some of the constituencies that are along the borderlines. Honorable member for Banjul South also was in line and supported the idea of having this friendship, supporting the idea of using our national languages in the parliament, and also taking Senegal as one of the countries that have a very high representation of female representatives in the National Assembly. And this thing will also help us to work towards the protocol on free movement of people and their goods, where the female members of both communities are involved in these things. And then this friendship will help them to help and hear the views of the ordinary citizens, especially the women, business women who are threading the lines of these two borders. And I think that is also very important, and this will play a very important role. Busumbala also went up further to say that national borders and also the relationship will be there to help the closest neighbors of the Gambia as Senegal. So I think this will be very important and to help us to ensure that we work on issues that will be in the best interest of the Gambian people. He also elaborated on the point raised by Honorable Member for Woodley West that members who are going to be nominated to serve on this committee should not just be there for fanfare and also tourism. Many constraints, he talked about many constraints when it comes to the free movement of people and their goods as enshrined in the ECOWAS protocol, which is not being implemented fully in both countries, and this will give the honorable members, the committee, an opportunity to have more dialogue and diplomacy to work with the executive and all relevant institutions and agencies to ensure that this is upheld and implemented. For he also wants to show a very proactive engagement for perfect national parliamentarians so that will help them to be able to do it. And membership to the committee, he also highlighted that should be very well looked into, and they should consider people who will be more committed to this and ensuring that the objectives that are enshrined in the motion are also met. Member for Lower Salum gave a brief historical background information on the Senegambia Confederation, and he said one of the key things that this Friendship Committee will do is to look at the issue of good governance and also representative of people, and which, among other things, will also help to champion the relationship. Honorable Member for Jara East says that it's never late than never, and then he also applaud the idea of coming up with this thing. And as I said, he came with the famous phrase that normally used when he's doing his presentations here in the National Assembly, that when Senegal sneezes, the Gambia cuts a cold. So it is important that we look into these things and look at the cultural and heritage issues that are deeply rooted in our communities and will help us volunteer and also work so that some of the problems of discrimination will also be dealt with as we go along. And he also commented on the cordial relationship between the two countries, and these visits will also entrench that and also ensure that the implementation of the free movement of goods and services as enshrined in the ECOWAS protocol are adhered to. And then he also talked a lot on the treatment of citizens in both countries, how Gambians are treated in Senegal and how the Senegalese are also treated in the Gambia. So this friendship will be a way of ensuring that we look at those things where we can have more diplomacy and also talk to each other in our respective countries to ensure that the aims and objectives embedded in this motion are held and also helps them to change our behaviors. And he also called for more attitudinal change that will help us to perform better and ensure that all the objectives that are enshrined in this motion are adhered to. He also talked about more about the citizens, which is very important because it's the people-to-people relationship that is more important in this thing. Honorable Member for Sandu, who is also the chair of the Trade Committee and also participated in this exchange program with the project monitoring group that went up to Senegal to look at those things. But he also emphasized the need for the export trade, which is very important and it needs to be looked into. And then goods leaving both countries will have to ensure that they are done in a way that is more effectively done, and then there should be more work on the political and economic way in the government. He calls on for more brainstorming and more fundamental groups to help in setting up all these agencies, and that will really help boost the relationship between the two countries. Honorable Member for Nyani also talked about the relationship between the two countries and the intermarriage and communication, which is very key, that is more essential for him, because with better understand communication, we will be able to understand and also help in our relationship and also forging the way forward for our development program. Honorable Member for Same also talked about the friendship, and then it came at a very good time, and those are follow-up that they have also been participated in the exchange visit that was done sometime February last year. And then he sees that this is a way that will help to work towards the cordial relationships, and he also stressed the point that these committees should not be dormant because of its importance role that it can play in ensuring that the friendship is all about learning best practices and ensuring that people are helped and ensure that the economic status of people are encouraged. Honorable Member Serekunda still went on to look at the parliamentary groups where he talked about the advocacy work that the parliamentarians will be doing in this activity. And it is more important that we look at the negative and positive signs, and that will also be more significant looking at going back to 1889 when the Gambia was carved and Senegal. So those are issues that this friendship will look into, and we will work towards what constitutes the Gambia and Senegal, and this will help us to further the friendship and help work better restrictions, trade demanding, and also ensuring that it is fully implemented. On the citizenship and the parliamentarianship, and he also gave a correct perspective on the Senegambia Confederation, which he was responding to a statement made by the member for Lower Salum, where he talked about the Senegambia Confederation. But he said how the Senegambia Confederation came, the institutionalization of that thing was done in a way without the build consensus of the most of the people. And this relationship should be built on and shed light on the Confederation that will help the people to be able to understand why it is set up. You're looking at the comparisons and also the contributions of both the two countries, which are not even, and the abrupt termination of the relationship. So all those are issues that shows the need for more cohesion and more understanding dialogue in whatever relationship we go to. Wuli is all the members to look at the borderlines and support people to be able to do more sufficient in learning with all the other issues that they are helping with. And people-to-people communication is very important, and then he's saying that there is an initiative that is going on in the area where people came up with programs that they are trying to do to consolidate the position and ensuring that the lives and properties of the people are protected, which is helping them to exchange ideas. And they said these conversations is being built to gather more natural relationship, mutual relationship. And then he is also convergent between the different societies or groups, series of these things that will respect others. And then he also stressed the need that parliaments can do a lot of good things in these areas. Honorable Member for Jara West expressed the importance of the collaboration, the relationship between the people, and also the objectives that are set in the motion. Primarily, the duty bearers are people that need to be looked into, and we should be able to use our diplomacy programs and ensure that the people are in the center stage, and they will always continue to take the lead to ensure that the principles of diplomacy should be adhered to, and these are issues that can be taken to help the people to ensure that the objectives of the motion is achieved. And then the Jara Central also looked about the importance of trade, and then monitoring of their program, which are the trade committee and the project monitoring, who were also in the forefront and then headed this initiative to be discussed both at Parliament in Senegal with the majority leader, and they also discussed issues. And then the same thing was done. The idea was tabled with the clerk to ensure that these issues are discussed. And these are issues that are going to help. Cantora came in to talk about the water blockage that is done in a community which is causing another problem. And this was done, and then he has been very committed to it, where he even put up a parliamentary question but was asked to withdraw these things because of the other issues that the minister thought that they can be discussed, but still nothing is done with that. And he also look at the international social and cultural issues that are doing very well when it comes to relationship with the Gambia and Senegal. But the whole problem hinges on the political and economic issues, actors that are playing on the ground. So this parliamentary friendship will also help in a way to ensure that this economic development on trade, re-export trade are also looked at. And he talked about more especially in the porous border areas or communities in Kantora, Nyamanar and two other communities that are very porous. And these are issues that he will, whoever are selected on this committee, with consultation with the chair of the committee, to ensure that he will engage them to work on these things and make sure that the committee realizes its aims and objectives. Honorable Speaker, this mainly that's a summary of what members have said in their contribution. Thank you.
Yeah, you've summarized.
Allow me just to clarify.
Do I allow you to preside over? I'm just, what I just wanted to add to that was that apparently you've summarized their concerns. I probably was expecting that maybe you will respond to some of the concerns raised, but then during the anyway, my role is just to preside. So, honorable member.
Yeah, I just want to point out somebody said that my mathematics was wrong, and they are right. I said 26 million spent by Gambia and Senegal, 52 million. 52 million, that should be 78 million, not 72, yes. It's 26 plus 52, 78, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, do I take it then that you want to correct the figure, the records? Okay, very well. I'm sure it's captured in the answer. Right. Thank you very much, honorable members, and also thank you to the mover of the motion. And then I put the question now, be it resolved that this honorable assembly do adopt the establishment of the Gambia-Senegal Parliamentary Friendship Group with amendment. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Clerk, can we proceed, please? But I understand there are one or two administrative hiccups. But anyway, proceed.
Motion, be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the establishment of the Gambia Kingdom of Morocco Parliamentary Friendship Group.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to withdraw this, the tabling of this motion. According to, with reference to Section 60 of the Standing Orders, there are a lot of technicalities in this write-up, and then I want to sit with the Secretariat to work on it further. So on that note, I want to withdraw this motion.
Hereby withdrawn then by the mover. May I, at this point in time, thank all honorable members for their contributions in today's sitting. And then I now put the question, be it resolved that this assembly do stand adjourned till Tuesday, that is tomorrow, the 16th of March, 2021. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it, and the Assembly now stands adjourned till Tuesday, the 16th of March, 2021 at 10 a.m. prompt. And I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you.
I was reserving myself for more. Look it.